All of you enter a tavern. The bartender pulls out a dagger and whistles. A gang of men quickly surround you. Roll for initiative.
I use my bonus action to heal, and then I smack him with my trusty mace.
I take cover behind a flip table and fire an arrow into the ceiling, ricocheting into the barkeep's eye.
I pull out my blunderbuss and I blast them away.
Swinging my sword, I behead him, showing him the might of my great sword!
I summon Serpent's Fang, launching it into the halfling's eye.
Hello everybody and welcome to eDIOCRACY, the show where a bunch of idiots that don't know how to play D&D sit down and play D&D. Today I'm joined once again by the boys.
What's up?
Hey!
Am I again?
Yeah. Wow.
They're not in the most talkative mood today. So let's see if we can change that very quickly. So, today we are here for session 11, also known as episode 11. It's crazy. Guys.
Yeah.
Last session was double digits. Now it's double digits and beyond.
Yeah, 2 double digits and beyond.
Yeah, and beyond, bro. This is the and beyond part. So, last time we left off, the party ends up having a great time. Caden knocked out the whole time, pretty much. But the party ended up inside of what looked like to be a tavern, and some old lady and her grandsons tried to put them to sleep. Ended up putting a few people to sleep, but they were woken up. They defeated the old lady, quickly went through her house and looted her and all of that stuff. And then as the guards arrived, they left. But let's not forget about our good friend Gore, who Morgeth somehow made in the library last time, and now Gore is chilling with Morgeth for as long as Morgeth, I guess, assumes. So I guess he assumes life. I'm not sure. I don't know what I don't even know what a slime's lifespan is. I haven't looked into that.
I want it to live forever.
Yeah. So, with further ado, I think it's time for us to hop in to the next morning, in which all of them start to wake up, and with that entire party, roll me a d4.
Grabbing the D4. You?
I got a 1.
I have a 4.
I got a 3.
Okay. So, Dominique, looks like you were the only one that rolled 4, correct?
Correct.
Okay, you're waking up first. Without further ado, here we go. So, it is the next morning. You start to notice that it's a nice cloudy day. You see probably like a little bit of a sprinkle of rain kind of coming down a little bit, but not quite a hefty rain yet. And as it's sprinkling outside, you kind of look around. You see, a few people out in the streets and everything. And you kind of actually like look back down the road toward where the tavern is, or where the tavern was from last night. You don't really remember anything. All you remember is that you were kind of eating. You were kind of eating there, and everybody around the table was kind of suspicious. But as you were eating and drinking and everything, you kind of just got drowsy and fell asleep. And then when you woke up, the rest of the party is just kind of, pretty much looting the place, and there was a couple corpses in the ground. And then you had to run out in a hurry as you were looking around for stuff, and because a guard was outside, and you heard a broken window from the upstairs. So all of you left to come back here and go to sleep. You also happen to remember last night that out of a quick curiosity of what Eduardo was doing, you kind of like looked over and you saw Eduardo kind of he was kind of like talking to a group of people. They looked like maybe some like musicians of some kind, and as Eduardo kind of walks back to you a little bit, like from this group, he kind of bids his farewell and says that he needs to go on a musical journey to really, you know, like to live his life with music, and he thinks he found the right people. And so with that, you bid him a farewell. You head to the tavern, you know, behind all the rest of the party. And so with that, you wake up, and with this newfound knowledge, what do you do? This is your cue. Kaden?
Caden?
Kaden.
I had this whole build up and everything, you know, like.
Oh. He just disconnected.
What doth thou going to do, home Slizzle?
Am I still connected?
Yes.
You are still connected.
Yeah, as far as we can tell.
Can I go back to sleep? For the sake of progression, can I go back to sleep for like a minute? Or like an hour?
Need 5 more minutes.
Can I just pull 5 more minutes?
Well,
Sure.
For the sake of
just passes back out.
I sit up, I look around, and I fall back asleep.
He looked around, saw the scene of maybe some possibilities and shit, remembered about his friend leaving, and he says, nah, and goes back to sleep.
I mean,
Thanks, fam. I'm not dealing with this
I
today.
did describe like the perfect like rainy day where it's just the nice water coming down, like hitting the window. So yeah, I'd probably like actively like just sleep in it more after hearing it.
Yeah, to be fair, I probably would too, like in real life.
Okay,
Alright.
fuck it. Who all rolled a 3?
Me,
I rolled a 2.
I rolled a 3.
Okay.
I rolled a 2.
So Ugg, you woke up. As you woke up, you get a quick glance, and you know, of course you see the the rain kind of sprinkling outside, and you see the nice cloudy day. You look around the room, and you actually for a moment you hear like something maybe in the walls, for just like a quick moment, and you couldn't tell what it was, but it sounded like there's maybe like scurrying, maybe like a rat or something that was inside the walls. But other than that, what do you do?
I would like to put my ear against the wall that I heard something to try to see if I could hear it again.
So you go over there, you put your ear against the wall, and you wait a moment,
Just
and
to make
so-
sure.
Yeah.
Imagine.
And so as you're waiting, for something else to happen, you kind of just sit there in silence for a moment, and you don't hear anything, and then all of a sudden you hear a thud against the wall.
Uh-oh.
And as you hear a thud against the wall, it kind of gives you a little bit of jolt, like a little bit of a surprise. You wasn't expecting that. And so, with that, it kind of sounded like it was maybe just slightly bigger than. It was probably slightly bigger than like a rat or whatever. Something that was like, I'd say, I don't know, maybe the size of like, probably like the size of a pumpkin or something. Hitting
Okay.
up against like the inside of the wall.
Now, question: is this like into the lobby kind of wall, or is this like to the outside wall?
This wall is in between your room and Morgeth and Orilo's room.
Hmm. Oh. Is it coming from like the top of the wall or the bottom of the wall, or like where?
It's about like like maybe like mid wall. I mean, it's basically your height.
Okay, so it's
Inside the room. Yeah,
I
you're
was
like standing up, putting your ear to the wall.
yeah, I was just trying to figure out like where it was coming from. Like if it could have been something from like upstairs or like someone crawling along the ground or like just something on the other side of the wall or not. Uh, so Ugg is going to walk out of his room and try to see if he can't like knock on the door and wake them up to like try to figure out what that was.
Yeah. Cool. Orilo, Morgeth, does the knock wake you up?
Yeah, it's gonna wake me up.
Okay. So as you wake up, you hear a knocking at your door. What do you
I'll
do?
go and open it. So,
Okay.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
what?
Oh, I said when I open the door, I say, "Who is it?" So,
Uh it's Ugg. I kind of heard a noise, and it almost seemed like it was on this side of the wall. Is there anything going on, or?
I haven't heard anything.
Just then, you hear a thud from the opposite side of the room in which it was supposed to come from. So
I have
it sounds like it's coming from Eduardo in his guitar's room.
Wow. I have now heard something.
Which side of the room is it on?
The wall leading to Eduardo and guitar's room.
I was asking them, Johnny.
Oh,
it looks like it's coming from the other room. I'm gonna go grab Betsy. So.
Yeah, Ugg's gonna try to get in there and see what's up.
I'm gonna grab my sword and head in behind them.
so, you end up walking to the room and everything, and as you get there, you notice the door's locked.
Well then, what do you suppose we do now then? It's locked.
Does anyone have the key to this door?
Does Vanessa still have the key?
Dang.
No, I thought she gave it to Eduardo.
I mean, we could always see if she did or not.
This is true.
So I'm guessing we're all walking and knock on the door of Vanessa's room.
Yes.
Okay. So as you're knocking on the door, I need you to real quick roll me I'd say performance check.
Performance, got all that. Oh boy. It is an 8. It's an 8, Johnny.
It's an 8. So, as you're knocking, you notice that it wasn't really a loud knock, but you do notice the door quickly open, and you see Yorn standing right there in front. You do see Vanessa over to the side, still asleep, but you see Yorn kind of standing in front, like rubbing his eyes, like, yeah. Is there something you need?
We
we were wondering if Vanessa still had Eduardo's room key or not.
Like no, she gave it away last night.
Uh,
She gave everyone the room keys last night.
Because we're hearing some like a loud noise coming from his room, and we're
What?
trying to figure out what.
Yeah, so I don't know. She came in here late last night, but I remember hearing something before I went back to sleep. Like yeah, I heard that thud a little bit too. Oh man. I don't know, man. Did the thud wake you up?
Not necessarily that. It's just when I woke up, I heard a thud in my room, so I've been trying to figure out what the noise was.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's gone. Right then you hear another thud, and Jordan kind of like jumps a bit, and it sounds like a louder thud, like almost like somebody is like actually like actively hitting the wall now, and he kind of goes, "Oh, what the heck?" He's like, "That's what's been happening, man. How do y'all sleep through that?"
Well, in my room it wasn't this bad.
And he kind of like walks over to the wall that leads to his and Edward, like between rooms 4 and 3, which is Eduardo's room and Jordan's and Vanessa's, and he's kind of like looking, like he's kind of like inspecting the wall a bit, you know, like trying to figure out what it was, and then all of a sudden you hear the thud hit the opposite wall, leading to room 5.
Okay, so it's not Eduardo's room, it's that room. Okay. You want to try to help us figure out, or you want to try to go back to sleep?
We're just like, honestly, at this point, I don't know if I can go to sleep if that keeps going. Okay, let's go figure out what this is. As he starts stumbling out of the room, forgetting literally everything in the room.
Do you think it'd be best to wake up Vanessa first, or just leave her asleep for now?
He kind of goes, whatever y'all want to do. Personally, I think it's better to wake her up, maybe. But at the same time, I don't know how serious of an issue this really is. It could just be someone being a little loud and we just have to tell them to shut up, or it could be that we're gonna have to get in a fight and we're gonna need a cleric there. I don't know.
Let's wake her up just in case, because who knows what could happen.
Okay.
We might get dragged into something.
Okay.
Goes and like walks up to Vanessa to and tries to shake her awake.
Cool. Does Vanessa wake up from this first shake?
Surprisingly, yes. Vanessa does wake up for the first shake.
How the fuck is that surprisingly?
Loud banging? How did she not wake up to loud banging but wakes up to the first shake?
Oh, whatever. That's a good point. Please continue.
Anyway, Vanessa, we've been hearing this loud noise and we're trying to figure out what it is. You want to come with us?
Vanessa takes a deep sigh before doing a big stretch.
Every time you do this big stretch, it makes me want to make you roll to see if you end up having a cramp in your leg or something. I'm genuinely.
That's what I was waiting for.
Oh man, do you want to have a cramp in your leg every time you wake up? Hell no.
No, it's just what cats do. They do a big stretch when they wake up.
it's like you do that, you get like a net 1 at one point, and you just like take like 1 damage or something like that.
So
Pull the muscle.
excruciatingly bad, you take like 4 damage from it.
Oh my god.
You take a D4 damage.
You just see the leg fold back from the cramp and just fucking pop off.
Oh my god.
Anyways, am I rolling or not?
No, because I don't want to do the stupid leg cramp thing every fucking time you wake up.
Okay. Just know every time I wake up, it's going to be a big stretch. Cause
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Okay. So Vanessa does her daily big stretch, and then like slowly gets up out of bed. It's like, yeah. Say again.
Vanessa, are you coming?
Fuck it. Sure, why not?
So I kind of like slightly grabs Vanessa, so like just to make sure like she's following them.
Vanessa quickly grabs her journal before getting pulled away, if she does get pulled away.
The reason why I'm saying that is because Vanessa just woke up, so it's like Ug's just there, just like she's half asleep, so she probably doesn't like really understand what's going on. So
Yeah, that's why she also grabbed her journal to keep it with her. That's like her first thing.
Yeah.
Grab her.
Yeah, so as y'all come out and everything, you see Yorn at the door just knocking on it. And he's like, "Excuse me! Excuse me! Can you please open up? Hello? Hello?" And like then you hear like you see the people at room 6 like open the door, step out, and you see this half-dressed man, like normal human, just kind of like looking at Yord kind of oddly, and he's like, "Hey, shut up! I'm trying to get sleep around here." It's like, "I'm sorry, we're hearing a thud in the walls." And he's like, "A thud in the walls? This place didn't tell me about rats." He's like, "Oh man, yeah, continue, just shut the fuck up." And he walks in and like slams the door shut. And Yorn just keeps knocking on this door, and like as he's knocking on the door and everything, you know, like he finally checks to see if it's unlocked. And as he's sitting there trying to like open the door handle, he finds that it is technically unlocked, but it seems like there's something jamming the door. So we got a problem. The door is unlocked, which is good, but the door won't open. There might be something jamming it from the other side. And just then you hear another thud on the wall.
Do you have any spells or anything that could help us out, or?
I could try kicking the door.
He kind of thinks about it for a second, and Yorn goes, "Well, I've got one that can get the door open. The problem is, well, I don't know how to get the door back.
Oh.
And I don't think they would particularly enjoy us destroying one of the doors to the room. So, any of you know how to lockpick a door? Or not lockpick, any of you know how to, like, somehow, scurry your way through a window?" That might be the only way to get in there.
I mean, I personally don't, but anyone else is welcome.
I'll just kind of like looks at Vanessa and just kind of like just kind of curious, just like, would you be able to do this?
Vanessa's just like, she kind of like rubs her eyes for a second. It's like, God damn, we gotta use Caden. He knows how to actually pick locks and whatnot.
They're just like, "Well, luckily for us, all of this is on the first floor, so you should be able to whoever's doing it should be able to get in the window just fine. The issue lies with what's on the inside. So,
Yeah.
if you're going in there alone, it's kind of dangerous. Regardless, we need to get in there.
Wait, all these rooms have windows on the outside, right, guys? Ugg says to the party.
I mean, I would assume so.
Yes.
Then can't we just look in and see what's going on from outside? And that would also give us a better idea of like what's actually like blocking the door.
Well then, why don't
I
we
guess
try?
I'll wait here, make sure nothing comes through this door.
Okay. So Ugg is going to do like a follow me like motion and start heading towards the window outside of the 5th room.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm gonna follow Ugg.
Vanessa also follows.
Yep. As you go around and get into the window, y'all, pretty much, peek in. You're all able to peek in just fine. Is everybody trying to be stealthy while doing this, or are they just peering through the window?
We kind of like poke our heads up, like to try to figure like slowly kind of thing. But gosh, would we be doing this stealthily? I guess technically we would.
What were you gonna say?
Okay.
I guess technically we're doing this, trying to do
Technically, okay. Well,
Yeah.
real quick, I need all of you to roll. All three of you to roll for stealth.
Right.
+5.
24 with a natural 20.
17.
A 6.
Okay. Well, yeah. So as you're there, you all of a sudden see a brick fire through the window. Yeah, going right past you guys. Basically shattering the window and everything, and all of you are fine, but you see the brick, fly out. And with that, I need you three roll me initiative.
Oh boy.
And rolling initiative.
Wow, from going to natural 20 to a 7. Wow.
12.
12.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let me quickly set up your scene.
So it's Morgeth, Ugg, and Vanessa are the ones fighting this.
Yep.
See, then we can all heal each other.
The 3 people in the party that can heal.
I just.
Yeah, it's like we don't even attack, we just heal each other. Like, hey, what the fuck you guys doing in there?
Right.
Loses 1 health, immediately casts Healing Word.
Their runes. Hey, luckily this entire party is not full of clerics.
That would be really funny.
Dude, that just sounds fun. Entire party full of clerics.
Oh man,
One of the
that'd be
necromancer.
great.
Just one of the clothes is a necromancer, so if someone dies, they just resurrect them.
Oh my god.
Like
literally, the bookserver's just like, you're not dying yet. Get back out there.
Right.
Like everyone grabs like the mending cantrip and like a firebolt or something like that for cantrips.
Oh, and to heal, they just it costs gold for them to heal you because it's just the American health system.
No,
What?
what they do, is they'll like run over to someone, heal them, and they'll be like, yeah, that'll be 5 gold.
My God.
Oh, I don't have 5 gold. Oh, well, I guess you're kind of fucked.
Looks like we
Stab
they healed him. They healed him, and all of a sudden it's just like, we don't have 5 gold. And then Vanessa uses her trusty maze.
Just fires a firebolt at them.
She just like smashes his hand like into pieces, and it's just like, that'll be 5 silver now. And then he's like, all I have is 4 copper, and you just see her with her mace. She kind of like, slaps it in her she slaps it in her like other hand and just goes, well, we can have that arranged.
Oh.
It's like breaking guys' fingers. Just starts breaking the fingers one by one.
Oh
like,
man,
that's 5 copper.
God, what is wrong with us?
Yes.
Everything.
It's simple. This is D&D. Shit like this happens.
I mean, I don't know. It's a little extreme, man.
Listen, at some point in time, someone did exactly what we're talking about right now. I guarantee it.
I mean, possibly.
Possibly, yeah, true.
Kind of fucked up, though. Hey, yo, not gonna lie, that's kind of fucked up.
Just like one of our spin-off episodes, we have that party, and then the next actual session, we go to the ruined village that was ruined by that party.
Oh my.
What?
Oh, I just thought of something stupid.
What kind of bullshit are you planning now?
I thought of something stupid that I'm going to do as a character now. Thank you, guys.
Oh no! What?
No problem, mate.
Half-orc cleric.
What about a minute?
How about no?
How about now?
Weird bullshittery problems y'all gotta deal with.
Yeah, well, got problems.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Gonna be fun.
Oh boy. I just realized something.
What?
There's all this banging going on. Caden's still asleep.
Yeah?
Well, I mean, he didn't choose to wake up, so.
Yeah, it's your problem, man, not ours.
He may not have chosen to wake up, but damn, is he a heavy sleeper.
He's just blacked out again.
Blacked out? No, he's in a fucking coma now.
You still got that potion running through you, my man.
He's still suffering from the effects of that potion, and no one's even bothered to check on him.
Nope.
He could be dead right now, and you guys are over here just ignoring his existence.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Vanessa did suggest
I don't know why, but I kind of like that. It's like, Caden's useless, let's leave him be.
I mean...
Let's be honest, Caden's only use is stealing shit and picking locks. But even still, he manages to fuck that up somehow. And he's the fucking rogue. Hell, I'm pretty sure the only thing he can perfectly do every time is do a fucking somersault.
Oh my god.
Actually, I'm kind of curious. Acrobatics.
Rolls acrobatics check. Get to
I
one.
got 21 acrobatics. Yep, that's a somersault.
Oh, nice.
Let's see. 14.
Okay. Real quick, I need all three of you. Roll me initiative.
Again?
Yeah, roll me again.
Cool.
I don't even know what the fuck y'all got the first time.
19.
I got the same thing I got last time.
I got 50.
I got a 6.
Yep, and so with that, let's move on. So you see the brick fly through and everything. I need let's see. Vanessa, you'll be going first. What do you plan to do? You do not currently see any enemies, but you know that at this point you are in battle stance.
I'm gonna try to peer into the window.
Okay. As you peer into the window, you all of a sudden see a shadow fly towards you. You quickly dodge out of the way, and all of a sudden, like you see a shadow like fly past you out the window. Ugg and Morgoth both also see this, and you see it fly out the window, hit the road, kind of scurry off a little bit to the side, and you see him like start to climb this other, well, fuck if it's gonna move. Helpful. You see it kind of scurry up this roof here and kind of like start to not necessarily disappear, but you don't know what the shadow is exactly. You just see like a small shadow like up here at this point.
Who?
Well,
You wanna, when you get a chance, you wanna go check that one out, and Morgoth here will check this room.
Yeah.
that sounds good to me.
Okay. I'm gonna end my turn.
Okay. So you end up ending. So as you end your turn, you do see the shadow start running around the roof a bit. Like as you know, you said you climbed in, or you're just looking in.
I was just looking in.
Oh, just looking in. Okay. So yeah. With that, you do still see the shadow kind of like running across the roof and everything. But you still don't know what this shadow necessarily is. With that, we will move on. So, you see the shadow just kind of leap across the street, and kind of like leap across the street and everything, land in the middle of the street, run up, and take a swing, or go for Ugg, starting off. With a 13, I believe that misses.
Yeah, 13 misses.
So you're able to dodge out of the way just fine. The shadow climbs up the roof and up here, kind of out of your view, and just kind of disappears in a moment. And with that, we move on to Ugg.
Ugg is going to fly straight up 50 feet.
Okay. Yeah, you fly up, you go past it, and you look. And you see this little shadow kind of you see the shadow on the roof, kind of there and everything. You could see the actual like shadow itself, you just can't make out what it is.
So I'm going to cast Ensnaring Strike, and I'm going to try to fire at it.
Okay. Yep, roll for hit.
So let me go in the spell slot there, and Rolling. 15.
15 is a miss.
Okay. That's my turn.
Okay. Well, with that, we're on to Morgeth. Morgeth, what do you do?
Okay, so you said the shadow was at Ugg?
Shadow is on the roof right now.
The shadow is on the roof right now.
Okay, got it.
Ugg is like he's like up like above the roof currently.
Oh, so he's like flying. Okay, okay.
Yeah, he's flying.
Oh gosh, this is the first time I don't actually know what to do because the thing's on the roof. I think I'm gonna go. Can I go into the room?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go in the room and like search around for clues as to what this thing might be.
Yeah.
If that's possible.
Yeah. So you climb into the room. As you climb into the room, the rest of the party can kind of see you. They know that you're in the room. But overall, you're in the room, not having to worry about that stuff. So you climb into the room, you get a quick glance around, you see that the room is a mess. Like you see both of the beds are completely broken. You see like a few pieces of clothing just shredded all over the place. You see what looks like to be a small little blood trail kind of leading like out the window. And on top of that, you also like get a quick glance and you like see little what look like to be little tiny like black pebbles. At first glance you see little black pebbles on the ground inside the room.
I just look around and say to myself, "What in the five hells is this?" And I call out to my teammates, "Guys, this room has been torn apart. I found a blood trail in here leading outside."
That's probably this guy's blood trail.
With that, that's Morgeth's stuff. Anything else you're doing? You did your main action. Anything else you're doing?
No, that's it.
Cool. On to back to Vanessa real quick. What do you do?
Vanessa looks up to Ugg and she shouts up to him like, "You got this? Do you need me to come up there and help, or?"
It might help if you come help, but I probably have this. Who knows, though?
Okay. I'll wait a bit before going up there to help you. See if you got this.
Okay.
Vanessa also climbs in the room.
Okay. So, as you climb into the room, so you climb into the room, you kind of see the mess and everything, and you're looking around. You get a quick glance, see everything. Of course, the room is trashed. So you're in there. What do you do?
I look to see what is jamming the door.
You quickly just see a chair like in front of the door jamming it.
I'm gonna go over there and move the chair, if that is okay.
Mm-hmm. So you go in there, you move the chair, you slap it out of the way, you slap it out of the way and everything. And just then you see the door kind of like swing open where Yorn's been trying to get this thing open. And you see, Yorn, O'Rilo, and not Caden. You see Yorn and O'Rilo kind of standing on the other side.
Vanessa just like, "Okay, there's a shadowy thing that's trying to fight us right now." So that's all I got from this so far.
A shadowy thing?
Yes, a shadowy thing. It is on the rooftop right now, and Ugg is handling it as of right now. But we might need some more help up on the rooftop.
Okay.
I see. As Ugg is currently distracted outside, Morgoth is in the room. We're going to tune to the world map for a second. We're gonna leave Ugg out there for a moment. So Bjorn kind of just goes, "What do you mean by shadowy thing?"
Okay, so it just looks like a blurry shadow as it was running or
okay.
moving. Morgoth here is the one that actually came into the room and found that it was torn up. I just came in second. Everyone else saw it. Morgoth, do you have any other words that can describe it besides a shadowy thing?
None in particular. Like, the only thing I really noticed was the blood trail. I mean, it lunged for Ugg that one time, didn't it?
Yeah. But even then, we still couldn't get like a good sight on it.
Yes, I couldn't really tell if it had. I couldn't discern if it had a form or not. It was just sort of this, like, shadow. This dark, looming presence I can't really put my finger on.
Okay. He kind of like looks over to Rilo. Jorn looks at Rilo in kind of a confusion. He's just like,
I guess we better catch it before we never find out what the hell it is. So.
That is true.
Let's just hope Ugg doesn't accidentally kill it.
True. Yeah, let's go see if we can catch this thing. And with that, I'm in now. With that, Jorn kind of like walks into the room and he notices for a second. He's like, "Oh, were y'all fighting in here?"
No.
So what happened here?
It was already like this when I came in to investigate it.
Okay.
It threw a brick through the window at us.
Okay. Understandable. And Jorn kind of like walks over to the window and he's like, "Ugh," he's like, "Broken glass, fun." And so you see him kind of like, he like real quick rips off his shirt, puts it over the he like puts it over the glass and everything, and he's like, it's not gonna help too much, but I guess this is the best thing we got. And he kind of like climbs, he kind of like climbs outside real quick. He's just like, well, he looks up at Ugg and he's just like, well, do you see it?
Yeah. Currently trying to stop it.
Like, oh, okay. And with that, I also need a Rilo. Roll me initiative.
$18.
18. Cool. So. With that, we move on. So the how high are you?
50 feet. I flew up 50 feet.
The full 50 feet? You do know you come back down if you use all 50, right?
No, I don't actually.
What?
It's only when my movement has been inhibited that I fall.
Oh. I thought it was.
Yeah, I know. It took me a while to figure that out.
Okay. Okay. So you're just chilling. So yeah, you're kind of, I guess you're chilling up there the full 50 feet. You see the shadow kind of like hop up, about 10 feet off the roof, falls down, lands on the ground, and it starts running over toward the other roof. And with that, it's on to you. What do you do?
I would like to fly towards where it went and try to shoot at it again.
Yep. So
basically, I can get a clear shot and then fire again.
Yeah. Looking back at this, yeah, you see the shadow kind of just like start to run in the middle of the road and everything. I don't have. You have to take my word. You see the shadow in the middle of the road.
Okay.
You can take a shot if you want.
Yeah, I'll take.
Okay, is this a normal shot or?
I still have ensnaring strike.
Oh yes, you do. Okay. Yep. So roll for hit.
Ensnaring strike hit. 16.
16. That is a miss.
Yep. I would like to. So where exactly could you like point out where it is or about where it is?
It's like 20 feet from.
I would like to. I'm gonna fly about there into like the middle of the road so that like regardless of where it tries to run to, I can easily try to shoot it again. And that's gonna be my turn.
Okay, cool. So fly down and everything. You're still above it, right?
Yeah, I'm still flying in the air.
Okay. So with that, we move on to Morgeth. Morgeth, what do you do?
Okay, I'm gonna come back out of the room. Like, can you zoom out a little bit? Because I can't really. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You would pop out right here.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna go and attempt to climb up the roof where Ugg is. Like, climb up to the roof where the shadowy thing is.
Well, it just jumped off the roof.
Oh, where is it at now?
Middle of the road.
Well, it's in the middle of the road. At this point, you don't know. You wasn't looking. So, yeah, you can try to climb the roof. Roll me acrobatics.
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't want to climb the roof anymore. So.
Well, but you don't know it's in the middle of the road.
Okay, well then, yeah, I'll just climb the roof then. What are we gonna get? I got a 13.
13. Yeah. You're not climbing this roof. You get a foot on the window seal and you're able to get up like 2 or 3 feet, and then you kind of slip, fall back onto your feet. Didn't get that high, so you didn't get hurt. So, yeah, no, you're pretty much fine. But yeah, you didn't climb the roof.
Okay, is there anything else that I can do? Like, can I use my movement to try to go towards where Ugg is?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna go up to, like, yeah, right there.
Okay.
And I think I'm just gonna have my turn there.
Cool. Orilo.
Okay. So, go through the window.
There. Okay. So you shimmy your way through the window, and so now you are standing, outside the window.
I'll go next to the shadow, to the right.
Okay. Shadow is, pretty much under Ugg, so I'm gonna say like probably here or something. He's roughly under Ugg.
Well, let's see if I can grapple this strange creature.
I need you to roll me athletics check with disadvantage.
Okay. Yep, I missed. I got a nat 1.
Oh, dang. Yeah, so, you tried to grapple it. You couldn't get a hold of it. It quickly, it quickly got away. You did get a quick glance, of what it somewhat looked like. All you remember is seeing like a gray fur. For, like a grayish fur for like just a moment. As it like shimmied its way, like out of your hands essentially. Cool. Is that your turn?
I'll use action surge and grapple again.
Okay. Roll disadvantage. Roll athletics with disadvantage.
6.
Yeah. So, once again, they got a 12. So, you tried to grapple. It shimmied away. It was able to shimmy out of it. Not able to grab it just yet.
Dang. At least it's getting better. 1 to a 2.
That is true. That is true.
Well, that's the end of my turn.
Okay. Moving on. Now we have Yorn. Give me a sec. Pop him out. So Yorn comes out the window here. He's kind of looking around. He sees this little shadow. And you immediately see him. You see him like come out the window, and he casts like a water wave or a water rune. And he goes, "Hey." He's like, I'm gonna cast a water wave, so you might want to move. As we move on to Vanessa.
Goes over to but after he your hell, not gonna immediately go out. So I'm just
Okay. So you're just gonna stay inside?
Yeah.
Cool. So, with you staying inside, we're gonna move on. So, y'all are just chilling and everything. Orilo, you see the shadow kind of like, you see the little shadow kind of like jump up towards you and everything. And he gets, he gets a 21, so that is a hit, dealing 4 damage.
4 damage to me?
Yep, 4 damage to you. He got a 21 on the hit and did 4 damage. With that, you see him kind of scurry off. You see him kind of like run past you, essentially going down, and he ends up climbing up onto this roof once again. Where it's kind of just trying to, you see him start to run down like the west side of the roof. And with that, move on to Ugg.
Okay. First question: do I still have? Is Ensnaring Strike still active? It is the duration is concentration up to 1 minute.
Then yes, it is still active.
Okay, cool. I would like to fly over to the left about 25 feet. That's the way that the shadow ran, right?
Yeah. So, you want to go
Right, straight left.
just straight left? Okay. Like full 50 feet or
25.
Okay, 25 feet.
You know what? Let's go 30.
So 30 feet.
One more. Let's do one more.
Okay.
And then I'd like to fire another arrow.
Okay. Roll for hit.
Cool. I'm rolling my actual dice. I got a 4 here, so that's plus 7. That's 11. Oh god.
Yep, that is a miss.
That is my turn.
Okay, Morgath.
All right, so I'm getting angry at this thing. Like, I guess I can see it on the roof now since I saw it move. I'm gonna cast a guiding bolt at it.
Don't
Okay.
Wait, what?
We're not trying to kill this thing. We're just trying to stop it.
I don't know how much health this thing has.
Okay, so you're gonna cast guiding bolt.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I need you to roll hit with disadvantage.
Oh, with disadvantage? So just take the lower one, or like how do I add this?
Well, you could have right-clicked on it and then. You could have right-clicked and chose, but yeah, just roll a second one and choose the lower number.
Okay, got it. I got a 22. Was my lowest.
Okay, well, that's a hit. Yeah, roll damage.
Okay. 14.
Wow, that's a lot of damage. So you end up getting a hefty hit. You see this thing, like as it's kind of like running and everything. You kind of hit it. You see it kind of like trip, roll a bit, and everything. Like it took a hefty hit. It's just sitting there bouncing and rolling across the roof and everything. It ends up actually like sliding off the roof and hitting the ground. But you see it, like as it hits the ground pretty hard, it actually like gets back up, and you see it like ready to run again.
All right. So I can't try to grapple the thing, right?
Not from where you are.
Oh, I mean, like if I run up to it, I can't try to grapple it, right? Because that's an action.
Yeah, that would be an action. You already used your action.
Okay, well then I'm just gonna end my turn right there.
Okay. Onto a Rilo.
Okay. All
just so you know, the shadow is like right here somewhere.
Okay. I'll move towards the shadow.
Okay. So you move 30 feet.
I guess I'll use. Nah, no, damn. Does it matter if we?
What?
That's it. That's my turn.
Okay. Cool. Yorn is going to cast another water rune, and he's like, I don't know what y'all are doing, but if you're in the way, you're gonna be hit with a lot of water. And we move on to Vanessa.
Okay, so go to Vanessa's gonna pull out her crossbow. Am I hang on.
You'd have to, if you want to shoot the crossbow like at this thing currently, you have to come out of the window.
Where is it?
It's somewhere. It's
Okay.
pretty much this blue dot.
Where? Okay, Yorn's at the window, right?
Yorn is kind of in front of the window, yeah, but you could scurry out past him if you want.
I think I literally. So I would have disadvantage to hell with if I tried shooting, wouldn't I?
If you tried peeking out and shooting, yeah, if you're using a heavy crossbow, yeah. I would say yeah. You're trying to shoot it through a broken glass window, and trying to lean out of it, shooting at this small target that already is hard to hit. So yeah, You can come out of the window if you want. But if you want to stay in there, feel free.
I'll shoot with disadvantage.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
That's gotta be a 5 because I rolled so. Yeah.
Well then, yeah, that's a miss.
Yeah, end my turn.
You end up firing a bolt, and instead of it going toward the shadow, it like flew right past Arilo's head, like going off into the street somewhere. Cool. That's fun. Moving on. The shadow quickly kind of like runs up to Arilo, kind of goes in for an attack. So it misses with an 8, and then you see it quickly run across the street and up the side of the wall there, and is now on the roof. So it is up here now. With that, Ugg.
Just making sure again. Ugg still has ensnaring strike, right? Up. 1 minute concentration duration.
Yeah. You don't have to tell me concentration. Like that has nothing to do with the situation.
I'm just making sure it's still up or not.
Yeah. Let me check something. Yeah, it's yeah.
It's still up.
Definitely. It's still up. Yeah. So 18. That is a hit.
Cool.
And so as it scurried up the wall and everything, and got on the roof, as soon as it like starts to move, you end up shooting it.
Johnny, can I tell you damage?
Yeah, how much damage?
11.
Okay. You deal 11 damage. You instantly stop this thing. And it kind of like skimmies. It actually goes off and it falls right off the edge of the roof, plopping, basically plopping on the ground. As it plops on the ground, all of you get a good look at it. It also takes it takes 1 damage. It takes 1 damage from falling, and then as all of you get a nice little look, you see what looks like to be a little mouse with a rapier in his hand.
Mouse.
Alright, let me make the image larger. Yeah, you see a little mouse with a tiny little rapier in his hand. Yeah, he's not actually that big. He's and yeah, and so yeah, and he's kind of like tangled up in these little vines now. And like as that hits, he kind of goes, "Unhand me, you swine!"
Ugg's just gonna kind of like stay flying up there with his bow ready. So that's gonna be Ugg's turn. In case the guy tries to run away again.
Yep.
We're still in combat, right? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yep. On to Morgeth.
I walk up about was it 15 feet? Yeah.
So here.
Yeah, and just kind of I think I'm gonna use my cantrip, thaumaturgy. I think is what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna use that and just yell at it, "Who the hell are you?"
um,
Should I like roll for intimidation or something?
are you trying to intimidate him?
Yes.
Um, uh, yes. Yes. So sure. Roll for intimidation.
Okay, cool. 15.
15. You like you just kind of get a loud yell at it, and when that happens, you kind of just hear him just like, "Is that really your attempt to intimidate me? Ha! You're funny." He's like, "I won't tell you my name because you are one of them." As he's sitting there like tangled up in all this mess.
All right, I'm gonna walk up to him and attempt an unarmed strike. If I
Okay.
can't do that.
Well, wait. Is your spell a main or a bonus action? Does it specifically say bonus action? If it doesn't,
Let me see. How do I tell that? Like, where would it tell me that?
you can cast it at will. It would actually tell you a bonus.
It would say casting time, and then.
Okay.
Well, one action, yeah. So one main action.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, then just forget.
Stay here.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay. Okay. Yeah, just in my turn right there.
Yep. Okay. So, onto a Rilo now.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess I'll go up to the mouse and and flick him on the head as an unarmed strike.
What's with you guys? I'm trying to punch this guy.
That was 30 feet, right? Yeah, sure, whatever. We'll give it to him. Yeah. Roll for hit, I guess. With advantage.
$15.
That is a miss. You quickly try to flick him, I guess, and as you go to flick him, he quickly you see him do kind of a spin move there, with his foot kind of taps the ground, and he's able to spin himself out of the way of the flick.
Dang, go.
Yeah. Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay. With that, you see Yorn. He casts another water rune, and with that he goes, we all might want to move. And right then he casts a water wave directly at you guys. And if you back thing here.
Back you.
Yep. So he pushes all of his. Well, let's see who's in. Yeah. He does water wave, and you see the water come up. All of you kind of quickly, of course, Ugg's out of the way. It kind of comes up towards Morgeth and Orilo, and it stops right in front, and Yorn goes, and Yorn kind of looks in disappointment for a moment and goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot it has a short range. Crap." And with that, we move on.
Ugg kind of yells down nice try though.
It's like, yeah, it would have been better if it actually helped. And with that, we move on to Vanessa.
Vanessa actually come out the window this time. Norn, done with his little water.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna put away my heavy crossbow, take out my mace, and walk as close as I can towards the mouse, and then end my turn.
Okay. As all of you are starting to surround the mouse is going to
I take 1d6 damage. Want me to roll that or you?
You roll it.
1.
Okay, so he takes 1 damage. And now he's going to attempt to break out of these vines. What's the DC on this?
If I look at correctly, it is a strength of 12. Strength 12 is the thing here.
Strength. Okay. Well, yeah, he fails with an 8 then. Since he failed, he kind of sits there and back to Ugg. Ugg?
Micah? Ugg's just kind of staying there in the air, just kind of aimed down, ready for if he, like, moves. Like, it breaks out and starts moving.
Okay.
That's all Ugg's doing.
Okay, on to Morgeth.
Alright, Morgeth is gonna walk up and attempt an unarmed strike.
Okay, roll with advantage.
With advantage, it was 18.
Yep, that's a hit. How much damage?
It would be 4 damage.
4 damage. Okay, so, as you go and hit him, you, knock him the hell out. He kind of just falls limps in the vines. So, with that, he is knocked out. What do you guys do?
Seeing him knocked out, Ugg kind of like goes to land.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy.
Oh, that was interesting.
Indeed.
So, what should we do with him?
Kind of hear you
Guess we can-
like across the street, just like, did you get him?
Yeah, we got him, Yarn.
Awesome!
It's weird. Where's the guy? Go.
What the one you were fighting?
He is knocked out in front of us.
Yeah, the mouse. The
The
mouse,
one who
like,
answered the
is
door, bro.
One who, huh? The what?
What happened to the person who answered the door, bro?
No one answered the door. That's why he had to climb in through the window.
Yeah.
I was in a different room.
Are you talking about the guy who walked out of room 6?
Yes, he is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that guy's back in his room.
Alright then.
Yep.
So, do you think we should take him and interrogate him?
It's probably best to try to figure out what's going on with him.
Agreed.
Jordan kind of like walks over and he's just like, oh, I see. he kind of like looks down, and he kind of looks down like the knocked out mouse inside of the vines, and he goes, "You are gonna take him out, right? Like out of the vines. You know those things hurt like a lot."
Yeah, he's got a little bit, but yeah, we should probably take him out already.
Yeah. So
maybe someone that's right beside him take him out.
Yeah, Morgoth will take him out of the vines.
Yeah. As you take him out of the vines and everything, Jorn comes over to help, and he quickly restrains him with like he has like some not rope, but he's got like some extra string that he uses binds, and he's like, this might work. I don't know how strong this mouse is. And with that, he kind of, you see Jorn kind of like pick it up, and he's just kind of pick up the mouse a little bit in his hands, and he's just like, well, should probably get back inside.
Agreed.
Probably best.
I want to say Vanessa makes an offhand comment that you shouldn't be left alone with the mouse because primal instincts and whatnot, but that's all, like, you could basically understand.
Yeah, so yeah, all of you are going inside, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So as all of you are going inside, kind of setting up, where exactly are y'all taking him?
I'm guessing one of our rooms.
Okay.
We could take him into my room, and I can show him gore.
Whoever's room.
Well, what do you guys think we should do?
Whoever wants them or wants to.
Yeah, come on, we'll take him in my room. Show him gore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jorn kind of like brings him with all of you, and y'all take him into Morgoth's room. You see Gore there, kind of like he's about halfway up the wall, kind of like just hanging off a little bit. It almost looks like he's trying to look like dripping ooze on the wall. And as he's kind of like trying to drip down the wall, you see as he sees the mouse and everything, he kind of hops over toward Jorn and lands on Jorn's back, and Jorn's just like, no, this is not food, this is not food, as he's trying to move his hands away from as far away from his back that he can, because Gore's trying to climb over his back at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Gore, get down, boy. Come here. I attempt to call to Gore and tell him to come over here. Should I
roll for animal handling.
14.
So you get its attention and everything. It stops for a moment. It doesn't come over there, but it does stop trying to climb over Jorn's back. So it kind of stays on Jorn's back, but it just kind of sits there. It stops trying to climb over.
Okay.
Well, it's like, thank you, and as he goes and puts the mouse down on the bed, or one of the beds.
Okay. So, what should we do with him now? Should we try to wake him, or should we wait until he comes to himself?
I need everyone in the room. Please roll me a perception check.
Perception. Oh. 17.
16. Oh.
5. No, wait. Yeah, 5.
What did Travis roll? Travis?
Travis.
Travis.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Roll me perception.
Alright. Just so you know, I did put VR back in the D&D chat because I didn't want to interrupt, so I just put it in the D&D chat.
Okay.
Because I know at least someone would have looked at it.
Yeah, you were wrong.
So
Wait.
perception.
Yeah, perception.
22.
Yeah. All of you kind of just. Wait, didn't someone roll like a 5 a moment ago?
O'Reilly did. Yeah.
Okay. So Arilo is the only one that doesn't notice, but the rest of you start to hear. You start to hear very light footsteps coming down the hallway. Like coming down the hallway, and as it like turns the corner, you immediately see Caden slapped right there in the doorway, and it kind of startled all of you as you didn't expect it to be Caden.
Oh, hey, Caden.
Caden, where have you been? Not be fully awake yet.
Caden?
Caden.
Okay.
Caden.
Boy.
Caden.
There you go.
Oh.
What?
And he's back.
Caden?
Caden.
Caden.
Caden, you're awake. You're at the door.
Caden.
He's dumbfounded.
What happened? I got disconnected before I heard anything involving Caden.
You were at the door. You just woke up. Caden.
You're at the door. You see us with a mouse that's unconscious.
Oh, cool, mouse.
You mind helping us figure out what's going on with him? He's still unconscious, though. And make sure you close the door on your way in, if you're coming in.
Got it. I proceed to walk in, closing the door behind me. So where'd the mouse come from again with?
So there was this banging noise, I guess, first thing in the morning. And as I was trying to figure out what was going on, I got pretty much everyone else up. And we found out that the door to number 5 was locked. Or it wasn't really locked, it was barricaded. So when we went outside to try to figure out what was going on in there, he bolted out of the window when he broke it. And we ended up catching him. That's the short of it. Now we're trying to figure out what he was doing in there. Because the room is trashed, by the way.
Okay then. I don't know how to process this.
Kind of hard for me to process it, and I'm there, bro.
Wait,
Very
so
weird.
you're saying this thing right here broke a window?
It threw a brick.
And it also blocked the door with a chair on the other end.
And there was nothing else in the room. It was just this little guy.
And a bunch of clothing that was ripped up, but you could always just chalk it up to a wear mice, but That doesn't really sound plausible.
I don't know. From what I understand of this whole situation right now, he seems to have been searching for something in the room.
All I can say is I'm genuinely impressed by this little guy's ability to do characters and Rick. Also, be honest. How hard was it to catch a mouse?
Pretty hard.
It
Well,
was
it's hard to think.
it was a slippery little devil. I'll leave him that.
Even with Vanessa around?
She Vanessa, what were you doing during the fight?
I went inside the room, unblocked the door, and then waited for Yorn to do his little wave magic, and then came out of the window. And
Cool.
then you guys had pretty much defeated him.
So you stayed in the window, or stayed in the room the entire time?
No, I fired a crossbow at it, but it missed.
Well, at least you attempted something.
Yeah.
Unlike Caden, who wasn't even here.
Hey, one of you could have walked over and woke me up, or at the very least tried to.
I
It
mean,
sounds like you guys didn't even try.
I did suggest we go get Caden before we went to the window.
This is fair.
We assumed all that noise would wake you up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something, but
There was a lot of noise.
I think the sleep potion might have stayed in his system for a little bit too long.
Yeah.
yeah, you're probably right.
Chalk it up to the after effects, I guess. Residue.
Hey, by the way, hey, guys, quick question.
Yes.
Did anyone else know that Eduardo joined a mariachi band?
Oh, he did.
Oh,
Well,
I
then
think. I don't know.
So that's why that must have been why his room was locked this morning.
yeah.
Yeah, he said his calling was elsewhere, not with us. It's understandable. We're not really a musical type.
Yeah.
well, sometimes people just move on and do their own thing.
I mean, the main thing I
I mean,
remember
I have
him being in a fight was him running away immediately. So
Yeah.
probably best of him to just join the mariachi.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, rob us.
Anyway, you down to help us interrogate here, or when he wakes up?
I am down for it. Sure. Why not?
Cool. So how we doing this? We gonna try to heal him, or are we just gonna wait for him to get up by himself?
Maybe we could do by the books if you give a mouth a cookie go.
Ah, I see, because he's a mouse.
Ah, yes.
I'd say heal him
I
because we got like 3 healers here. We can afford to lose a little spell slot.
I'll just kind of slaps Vanessa on the back, just be like, "Well, I guess you're up here."
Yeah, I was assuming I was going to do it anyway since I am actually the cleric.
Well, let's get to it then.
I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds, first level on mouse.
Okay. Yeah, roll for the healing, I guess.
I just realized something.
What?
It's best if you find out after he wakes up from healing.
Healing of 6.
Healing of 6. Okay. So he wakes up. You see him kind of panic for a moment. And in that moment, he goes to try. You see him like start to struggle a little bit and try to, try to get out of his bonds. And as
John,
what?
Here's the thing. I don't think we ever said we were putting him in bonds, and that's why I'm laughing over here.
No, Yorn did. Yorn did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yorn used some stream time up. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, he did. He's struggling and everything, and he can't get out of it, and he's just like, "Who are you people? What do you want with me?"
We want to know. Well, first we want to know your name.
He's like, "No, I asked you first."
All right, fine. I'm Caden.
I'm
Pleasure to meet you.
Orion.
My name is Morgan.
Since everyone else is doing this, I guess I'm Ugg.
He looks over at Vanessa, and he's just like, "Are they all new to interrogations? This is usually not how it works."
Vanessa's like, yeah, we're pretty new. But anyways, I'm gonna try to intimidate the mouse.
Okay, roll intimidation
to see if I can get his name out of him. Because, cat and everything. Intimidation probably the best.
I just love the fact that the one that's intimidating is the cleric, who's supposed to be good.
Well, yeah, but it's a mouse. What else am I supposed to do?
I mean, you are a cat as well, so...
That's
guess...
gonna be a 16.
Huh?
So, you go to intimidate him. You get up in his face, and he sees you kind of like as you're sitting there trying to talk to him and intimidate him a bit. He sees you he sees you lick your lips a bit, and he's just like, so can someone please control this cat over here, this feline creature? I think wants to have lunch with me.
Morgan walks up to him and puts his hand and tries to push him down onto the bed, and it's like, can I use my thaumaturgy to try to intimidate him?
Sure.
But what?
Say what? I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, sure. Go on ahead.
All right, so do I just roll for intimidation?
Yeah.
All right, come on. 7. Shit.
Yeah. So he looks he looks over as you try to intimidate him, and he's just like, he looks at you, then he looks back at the feline, and he's like, I think she's doing a better job. And you see him kind of scooting away. He's trying to scoot away from Vanessa at this point.
Look, we're just trying to figure out what you were doing in that room. That's it.
He's like, and what business do you have with it?
Apparently you're making a loud ass noise, waking everyone up.
Well, it's better us than the guards, I'd say.
He's like, honestly, no, it's not, because I am part of the Royal Guard. And so if the guards from around here decided they wanted to do anything, I could simply show them my Wait, where's my badge? Oh no. Did I drop my badge? Crap. Well, this is awkward. You'll have to take my word for it, but I am a part of the Royal Guard.
And what would the Royal Guard be doing ransacking a room?
Ransacking? No, that is what barbarians do. I was simply trying to defend somebody.
From what?
From what? You were the only one in that room from what we could tell.
What? What do you... What?
You were the only being we saw in that room.
Shoot, you even threw a brick at us first.
Well, I thought you were one of
One of who?
I thought you were part of the local bandits that live right outside of Hector. I don't know their name for say, but I do know that they come around a lot and they cause issues. This specific group of bandits like to try to kidnap royalty, and my job was to protect the daughter of the king, also known as the princess, but at this point, I don't think she's ready to be called that. She's not exactly she's not exactly on the fun side. But
okay.
Yeah, don't mind me. I've had a few issues with her, but my job was to protect her, and unfortunately, well, I failed. If she is truly not in there, like you said, then that means they somehow got away. Wait.
You want our help?
Well,
How did they get... Wait a minute. How did they get away?
How did they get away?
I boarded up the... I blocked the door so they couldn't escape through the door.
And the window was...
And I didn't see anyone go through.
Well, see, and the weird... Well, if what you're saying is true, then the only way they could have gone out was via the window, but that was where we were when it broke.
Yes. Which is odd.
Are we just gonna ignore the...
Because I was fighting with them. I was fighting with them, and I thought more of them were outside the window, and so I threw a brick at the window real quick, and then quickly jumped out the window at them.
Were these also mice?
Of course not! Do you really think I would be fighting my own kind? No, these were rats!
Rats?
Yes!
Rat. No, that sounds like a good meal. Anyways, if you were fighting... When our friend Morgoth over here entered the room, after you threw the brick out, there was nobody in there. After
Well, that's preposterous! There had to be!
There was no one in the room.
Huh.
Question, did any of you guys look to see if there were, like, holes in the walls they could have crawled through?
No, I did not.
Even so, where's the king's daughter? Did you see her in there at all?
I want to, Johnny. While they mention the holes in the walls and like everyone's just kind of like say, they both say everyone's just kind of says no. Ug's gonna like go over to like the room and like check him for himself.
Okay. Yeah. So you walk out and everything, and you're heading down the hallway to the room. Let's as you're going to the room, I guess we'll tune back to them for a moment. And he's like, you see, you didn't check. Your bird friend is going in there. What are they called again? Erecukras? What? Erecocras, yes. Your Erecocra friend is heading in there. I think he said his name was Ugg, I think. He is heading in the room right now, and I'm suggesting all of you go do the same. Maybe you'll find somebody else in there.
Maybe.
At least I'm hoping so.
What species was the princess?
Species? She's human! What else?
Question, did anyone consider magic?
I was thinking that myself, like they use teleportation, but...
Magic. Well then. I didn't consider magic. Crap.
So did I.
I don't know. I don't know what to really say about that. Well, that could be a possibility. That's unfortunate. If they truly used magic to get away, I don't know if I can catch them at this point. Quickly, do any of you know any type of teleportation magic? I know where their camp is. If we can get there quickly, we might be able to save her.
I do not.
No luck here, bro.
I'm only a life cleric.
I only learned magic like.
She's gone, and I have failed my mission.
Wait.
I knew I was going to fail my mission one of these days, but I didn't realize it was going to be with the princess.
Just wondering, why was she here?
Why? Well, why else? She's a princess. She has to go from city to city.
But don't you have like some sort of like royal orders and stuff? Not random in?
Well, no. We came to an end because we thought we could make her blend in the best here.
That doesn't.
I mean, because it's not every day, you know, people don't necessarily know the face of the princess yet. She's not of age to, you know, to get any type of like royal authority here. It's not like people know what she looks like unless they want to know what she looks like.
You said you know where the camp is, right?
Yes, I do.
I'm thinking we should go out there via bragging and see if we can save her that way.
That sounds like a great idea. I think we should go now.
I agree.
We gotta wait for our eDIOCRACY friend, so that.
Of course, your eDIOCRACY friend. eDIOCRACY friend, I need you to roll me an investigation as you are investigating the room.
Investigation. Oh boy, -1 investigation here. 9.
So since you were specifically investigating like the walls and stuff, like looking for holes really, you look around and you don't see holes anywhere on the wall. You're kind of just like looking for a bit, and you know, like the place is still trash. You're moving around a few things trying to get through. Just then you hear very loud footsteps come toward the door, and as you turn toward it, you see the innkeeper standing right there in front of the door, looking at you in just a pure anger, and he's like, "What did you do to this room?"
I haven't done anything to this room.
Okay.
Look, my friends.
Nope. Nothing. Out. Just grab your friends. Out.
Oh.
Okay.
As he kind of like steps out of the doorway and everything, to allow you to pass through.
Okay, I go to everyone and tell them all that we've got to get out of here and grab all our stuff as well. We're being kicked out.
Why?
Why am I not surprised?
The innkeeper thinks I'm the one that trashed the room.
Understandable, I guess.
Yeah, the mouse kind of just goes, "That's preposterous! Those bandits did it!"
Well, good luck.
But in all fairness, one, the bandits aren't here, and two, the only one he could see in there was In other words, only one person was visibly there.
He's like, maybe I could settle this. Untie me so I can go and show him that I am part of the royal guard and that he can't be throwing us around like that.
Did you lose your badge?
I did. Shit.
Let's just head to the camp to try to
I'll
save.
still untie you though. But I just wanted to point that out. And with that, I summon Serpent's Fang and then just kind of cut the string.
He's like, thank you, good human. Crap. He starts like looking around. He's like, where's my sword? Did any of you by chance grab my sword?
Did you guys grab his sword?
No.
I did not.
You see him real quickly jump to the window and look out, and he kind of gets a look out of the window, and he's like, it's right there. And as you notice, you see like the rain is really starting to like come down now, and he kind of like shimmies the window up just a little bit, but not much, and he like slips out the window, like running straight for it, and like he goes to run straight for it. After a few seconds, a couple of y'all go to like peer out the window and everything, and he's just gone. You don't see the sword, you don't see him or anything. Like you just don't see him at all for a few moments. And just when you think that he probably just left, all of a sudden you hear a plop, like right outside the window, like just under the window, essentially right outside, and he goes, it seems my fur is wet enough that I cannot jump up. Would one of you please be a dear and reach your hand through the window so I can get some assistance?
Oh,
Vanessa's like, I volunteer.
Anybody
Vanessa,
except for the feline friend.
I will
help.
What was
I like how we have both a bird and a cat, which would both eat a mouse.
Yeah, so you'll end up helping him back in and everything, and you like as you help him back in, he kind of like plops on the, like, you help him onto the windowsill and everything. He plops there, and he kind of like quickly stands up, shuts the window, and then you just see him like trying to shake the water out. He's just like, I'm sorry. He's like, water is not a very good friend of my fur. My fur is very absorbent to water, which makes it very hard for me to actually, move and jump around. It's kind of a problem at times.
Did you find your badge out there?
Yes, I did. I have found my sword and my badge. And so with that, he quickly like puts on his little badge. It's like, it looks like the badge was kind of made where it's a nice metal badge and everything. He takes it, he kind of clips it to his fur, and he's just like, it's a very small badge, almost in like the shape of like a it's like a circle, and you see like almost like a royal crest kind of in there, and he's like, this is of the royal guard. I hope all of you were impressed.
I'm impressed.
Ug's more of just like, well, can you now clear up the misunderstanding with the innkeeper?
He's like, of course I can. And he kind of, you see him like hop down, he kind of like does a nice little stroll out, and you see him like even grab the door and kind of like shut it behind him. And there's just a few moments of silence of all of you sitting there, and all of a sudden you hear a voice, "Get out!" And all of a sudden the door like comes wide open, and he goes, good news, friends, we must leave now.
It's like, I'm already
Why
on
did
it.
I say this to
Go
me?
room and grab my...
Yes, Morganth is just going to run in his room and grab his things before he gets assaulted.
This is your room.
Oh wait, we are in my room. Okay, well I'm just gonna grab
He like what? I just imagine
I
him.
forgot that we weren't in the other room where the stuff takes place.
I just imagine Morgoth like walks out of the room. And he's like, "Wait a second, this is my room."
Wait. Now that's exactly what happened.
Goes to the queen or
He's just sitting there,
grab his
on his bed because he never leaves the room without it.
Yeah, as y'all are leaving, Yorn kind of like turns over and he's just like, "Are we really following this mouse?"
That
Yeah, why?
fact that we've got to leave here. So I mean, I guess.
Isn't it
Because of
his
something
fault
to
that
do
we
today.
have to leave?
Yes, very much so.
But we're
And
going to
like,
save the princess.
as y'all are starting to like walk out and everything, you see the innkeeper. You see the innkeeper like purely just pissed off behind the counter, and you actually see that like there's a few drips of some blood coming down from his left arm.
Oh no!
And like he's just looking at all of you like super pissed off, like as in like he's about to attack you, and
I think I know why he's mad.
yeah, and the you see the mouse kind of starts walking, and he's just like he's walking with all of you guys, and he's just like, yeah, I don't think he took too kind of my sword.
Yeah, usually you don't want to use your sword or your weapon when you're trying to convince someone like this.
Yes.
Well,
What made
you
this a good idea?
you see, he kind of gave me no choice. And like you'll get outside and you'll get outside in the rain and everything, and he's like, oh great rain. Do y'all by chance have a way of traveling that is not walking all the way there?
We got a wagon.
You've got a wagon?
Right.
We have
You know what I'm trying to say? Stop making fun of me.
So
I thought you were a cat, not a dog.
It's the dragon. Oh.
Scooby-Doo to save my life.
We have a dragon?
I was gonna say Vanessa is like has her hand over the mouse so the mouse doesn't get that much wet to like stop the rain a little bit.
Like, he's like, thank you, feline friend. And he's just like, okay, so y'all have a wagon somewhere. Where is this wagon? You see Yorn kind of step out the door, and he's just like, you see him looking up somewhere, and he's like, crap, where did I put this thing again?
Damn it, Yorn.
He's like, yeah, give me a sec. Yeah, you see, I might have used a bit too much of that potion.
Oh no.
Crap.
Right.
Let me see. And he like, you see him step out into the road, and he turns around towards you guys, and you see him look up a bit, and he's like, oh, well, that's not good.
It's just like a spot like where it's just not raining.
Kind of like he's just like, yeah, we have a wagon, but I'm not entirely sure how we're supposed to get it down.
What do you mean get it down?
I stepped out next to Yorn, looking up at it, just like, how? What?
Yeah, as you can see, it's not in a position in which it's going to be easy to get back down.
Like tried to like fly up there and like tried to like push it down like slightly, or like try to like get it to move downwards.
Yeah, so as you go up there, you see like the wagon, it's stopped floating, but it's actually like on top of the inn roof.
Oh,
It's on top of the end roof, and it's perfectly set where the wheels are on both sides of it. So no matter which way you push, you have to push it uphill to get it over the hill.
Oh, grand.
And you see Yorn, like, he's got his little bag and everything. He's trying to, like, go through it. And he's just like, well, this is unfortunate. It seems I'm out of, my levitation potions. And unfortunately, I don't think I can get that down by normal means. Or by magical means. So, we will have to do this the hard way.
Cool.
So
I am just more intrigued in the fact that it is up there and has not and did not fall and break into the roof. And then you see the mouse kind of like walk over there, and he's like, gee golly, that is not something you want to do. How in the heck did you even get that up there? And Yorn goes, it is a very long story that I would gladly tell you some other time, but we don't have time for that. We have to go help you, correct? And he's like, okay, understandable. We can go some other time. And Yorn goes, well, do y'all have any ideas? Because I'm fresh out of ideas at this point.
I mean, we could all try to go up there and push it off the roof, but
down, but I'm not sure how safe it's going to be once it hits the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm quite stumped here. I'm going
Or, Yorn, what ingredients do you need to make more of those potions?
He goes, well, so that's the thing. I don't know.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh.
And we can't just yell up to the professor to see if he can help us. Problem.
You see, I kind of need that potion to get to the professor.
Yeah.
Yelling does not matter when you have a library built in the sky about 500 meters up and, protected by a magical barrier that is supposed to not let people in unless they know how to get in.
John, out of character, John is just like, yeah, no, I know what Alex is going to try to do here, and I don't want that to happen. So you just casually, just quickly, just like, yeah, nope, barrier.
He's like, yeah, so, unfortunately, I have no idea on how to get that thing down. Do any of you have ideas?
Like I said just a little bit ago, we can push it off, but I'm not sure how good it's gonna be when it lands.
You can crane it down.
Crane it down how?
I also have this
I
question.
didn't think of that far, but
Yes. The mouse kind of like, you see the mouse like go up a step or two, where he goes, I think it will land right here when it comes off the roof, and he puts his arms in the air and he goes, I will catch it.
So that's just like, you will die if you try to catch that. No doubt about it.
I think it clears like just over you, so I don't think you will even be able to like touch it.
I don't think that would be a good idea.
If anyone's gonna try to catch it, it's probably Orilo.
Orilo and Morgoth.
Yeah, I could definitely attempt it.
Both of them working together to catch it might work.
yep, might.
I say
Yeah.
This is the dumbest plan ever.
Bjorn goes, this is the plan we're going with? We're actually going with the mouse's plan? And the mouse goes, hey, don't count me out. I do have some mighty arms of my own. And you see him like try to do a weird flex, but it's just like you're looking at him and he's a mouse.
I mean, guys, he did throw a brick up and down his head.
Yeah, that's
So-
a good confidence builder.
We're 100% going to push this, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
I don't
We
know
got
about
no other plan.
So, Ug's just kind of standing up there, and he's just kind of like, Vanessa, you mind coming up here and trying to help me?
Already on it.
I might as well go up there and help them push.
I keep disconnecting my headphones by accident.
Oh, fun.
I disconnected it after I said already on it.
Okay.
Why don't we just tie some ropes to it and slowly lower it down?
What Ug is going to do to like try to like help push it is try to like even like slightly lift the side that we're going to be like pushing off the roof, so it's like slightly easier to push. He's going to try to like lift it up a bit.
Yeah.
In the air.
Wait, so is Ugg the only one pushing it from the other side? Or did
No.
Vanessa. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Vanessa, you're able to get on the roof easily. It's, it's not that hard to get on this roof. From the side that you're on. So you end up getting on the roof and everything. And as you and Ugg get behind it, y'all are like getting prepared to kind of lift and push this thing while the others are trying to get in position, I guess, to catch it. So Caden, what are you doing in all this?
I believe he's
I was trying to climb up there as well.
Oh, you're gonna climb up there. Okay, so you climb up there as well, very easily. You kind of like prepare to also do this. God damn it.
This is what happens.
Wait a second, guys. Guys.
We're pushing the cart off of a building.
Guys, I just had a great thought.
In the rain.
What?
Off a building.
What if we tie a rope on this, push it? We could, instead of it just falling, we can kind of like try and like pull it back a little bit to try and counteract its fall. So I got a shit ton of rope.
Yeah, I would do that, but I'm pretty sure it would just drag us to the ground.
Yeah, especially since we
It
don't
sounds
have a
better
ladder
than
up
trying to
here.
catch it. So
I mean, if you want to do that, you can go for it, but you're probably gonna.
What if we had Morgoth climb here to try and pull the rope backwards while we after we push it over a bit so it starts falling?
Morgoth needs to help try to catch it.
Yeah, I probably need to stay down there to catch this thing.
if we're slowly lowering it with ropes altogether, does anyone really need to catch it?
Also,
I mean, we do need someone down there to guide it so it doesn't fall back.
We can always
Down.
put it back upright if it's on a side.
Also, it's raining around now, so if someone were to be tied to a rope with this on the roof, they're falling off. They're falling off.
And we don't need another party member dying from a stupid act, so.
Yes, dying from something stupid, although laughable, is
Well, why don't we all just stand from the roof and try to lower it down with the ropes?
It's raining right now. Someone's going to slip and die if we all climb up here.
Yeah.
And it would probably be, to be fair.
I can always cast Featherfall on someone.
Let's just start trying to get this down.
Okay.
So Ugg's gonna like grab it and start trying to like fly up in the air to lift it up, to just to kind of like lift it off the roof slightly on the one side to help make it easier to push.
And Vanessa's going to start to push it.
no rope?
Okay, and so the others are down at the bottom trying to help catch. Okay. Son of a bitch. Real quick, I need everyone roll me a strength check.
Oh man, everyone.
A natural 1.
5.
9.
I got a 22.
Katie got a nat 1.
I mean, who's helping push it, so it's not going to do much.
Morgeth got nat 20. So that's good.
This is gonna be fun.
I just want to say I feel called out by my dice roll.
Yeah, Vanessa, Ugg, and Caden, work up. Caden tries to help and like immediately gets a splinter in his finger. And so Ugg and Vanessa end up lifting this thing up, and they get the wheels just above the edge, but they both immediately lose their grip, and this thing comes straight down at full speed. As Orilo and Morgeth are at the bottom. Morgeth is able to hold his ground, and he goes to catch this thing, and as it hits Orilo's hands, it kind of pushes Orilo backwards, making him fall down in his ass. The wagon comes tumbling down at a curve, and as Morgeth is holding this thing perfectly on his side, it slips off sideways off the roof, crashes down in front of Yorn, and you just see Yorn like look down like in horror. He looks down in horror of like just looking at all of this, and he's just like, what? He kind of goes, guys.
Vanessa's like, how bad's the damage?
How bad's the damage?
And as you get like a quick peek, you see like all the the whole thing's in rubble essentially, and everything is all just in shambles on the ground in front of the inn. And Yorn goes, the mouse was under there.
Oh god.
I told you guys we should have used rope.
I was going to like swoop down to like try to like clear some of the rubble.
So
I got my cure wounds ready.
Yeah, so as you're like as you're sitting there clearing a bit of the wood and everything, all of a sudden you see the mouse's sword like just in the rubble, and like as you quickly pick up the little tiny rapier there, you're just like, oh, this isn't good.
Oh no.
Ugg's going to continue to like look for the mouse.
If he's still breathing, I can heal him.
I mean, we have 3 healers.
Yeah, we have so somebody can try something.
Yeah, and as all of you are like, kind of looking through it, you all of a sudden hear like a little tiny grunt, like, I'm gonna get it, and all of us, like, as he's sitting there, like, kind of grunting with his eyes closed and everything, you see him standing on Morgeth's shoulder with his arms up, like, yep, I'm gonna catch it, come on, we're gonna do this, and he kind of like opens his eyes and he's like. And he sees like all the broken wood and everything, and he goes, "We didn't catch this, did we?"
No, we did not.
No.
I mean, we did almost have Morgan come in with the clubs, but it slipped from Morgan.
Huh.
I guess it's better to say at this point we had a wagon.
I mean, hey, it's
he
off
goes,
the roof
well,
now.
that's unfortunate.
I mean, we could always pull our money together to buy a new one, couldn't we?
I don't
mean,
have.
Why do I feel like I'm paying for the wagon at this point?
The mouse just goes, that's a perfect idea. How much money do you currently have?
How much money do you have is the better question as a royal guardsman.
He's like, I have lots of money. I have... Oh, yeah, I forgot I'm broke.
To the club, buddy.
And how did
How
that
much does the wagon cost anyways?
I have no clue. I'm a royal guardsman. They typically just give me a wagon to use, unless I have to stay in secret and not... Well, this is a terrible turn of events.
I mean, we could still try to pull our money together. It's just we might be cutting a bit short.
Cutting it short, I think it'll most be out of my pockets.
Kanan, how much money do you got? Since you didn't spend much on our shopping spree.
168 gold.
I think that might be enough. I don't know. I don't know how much wagon costs these days.
I mean, if you give me a minute, I could probably get some more off someone else's pockets.
Well, we do have a royal guard with us, so
Probably not the best idea to start looting
In
a
all fairness, it's for the sake of saving someone.
I mean,
we could always just check how pricey a wagon is, like a simple wagon.
yes.
Also, shouldn't we maybe be talking about this while we're walking instead of just standing here next to the broken wagon?
Oh yeah, before the innkeeper comes out.
You hear the
even
door
more
just,
accurate.
you see the door swing open, and you see like the innkeeper standing there, like just like seeing all the broken wood and everything, and he just looks at the wood, he looks at all of you, all pissed off, he looks back at the wood, back at all of you, and he's just like,
Are you kidding?
Are you kidding me? I said out, not break my front yard!
This was our wagon. I don't know how, but it managed to get on your roof.
On my roof! And he like turns around and he noticed, and all of you start to notice that as it was coming down, it ended up breaking creases in the roof all the way down until the part it skid off the roof and crashed.
At this point in time, Caden's already running for his fucking life.
Vanessa's gonna start backing away.
Yeah, I'm gonna slowly start backing away now.
At this point in time, Caden's already running. He's already gone.
Ugg starts, like, going up into the sky. Ugg starts going up into the sky.
and with that, all of you kind of like leave Yorn there, and like all of you can just hear Yorn go, well, this is a fine piece of, and then like it just kind of like fades away and everything, and as all of you are like getting away, and like as y'all are, you know, going around corners, going up into the sky and everything, you kind of like take a few moments, and Yorn's like walking down the street and everything, and he's just like, y'all can come out now. The innkeeper went back inside. He is pissed, but he is not going to call the guards.
That's
okay, good. Vanessa goes.
And the mouse being on Yorn's shoulder goes, and if you would not mind me asking, why did all of you run? It is better to take it head on.
Well,
not when it's that guy, it's not.
Well, I've already been yelled at, so...
I feel like having the guards called on me, so, you know, That probably was going to end well if the guard got called. So
Yeah,
I'm used to getting my face punched in by angry guys. I'm used to my face getting punched by angry people, so I didn't want to take the chance.
Oh, I could do something really mean here. Or I could try to.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it. But I could.
Oh.
Anyway. Back to what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I
George just like,
cast message at
it's
a...
like, it's like, excuse me, I don't want to interrupt, you know, you're hiding and everything, but, can y'all please come out so we can, go buy a wagon? Since, you know, mine is, currently in shambles?
Yeah, Ugg just kind of like flies down, but he still kind of like hovers like out of anyone's reach, and just kind of like, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
for once, Kaden was right. We probably should have used the rope.
I literally have 100 feet of rope, guys.
But isn't it cut in two?
But the thing is, but in that situation,
No,
we would have been dragged off as well, wouldn't we have?
Vanessa.
We could.
Vanessa. After the rope Vanessa, after the rope incident, okay, I already had 50 feet of rope. Technically, I should have 150, but a certain someone had to take 50.
Wow, that's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah.
Casually checks touring, see if I. Because I'm pretty sure I grabbed the rope, didn't I? Where I grabbed the rope.
Roll for history.
Oh yeah, I do. I see it in my inventory. Rope 50 feet. Yeah.
So,
Anyways, wagon, right, guys?
Yeah, wagon. Let's go buy a
With that,
wagon.
Kaden already starts walking off in what he hopes is the right direction.
Yorn's just like walking off with the mouse on his shoulder, and they're just walking away from you guys, discussing about rope.
Vanessa quickly catches up.
Yeah, Ugg kind of like flies over, lands beside Yorn, and then just kind of follows him.
Yeah, Morgat just kind of like speed walks over there.
Yep. And so as y'all are walking a bit, you end up coming down on you end up like coming up on the little market square that y'all came in from before. And you actually see see a bunch of people like walking around. It's still raining. So it's a few less people than what you expect, but you do see people walking around in the little market area, kind of trading and stuff like that. All the little market stalls there have little roofs. So but it is it's a nice light rain at this point, and you're kind of just walking and everything. You start to hear like some music off to the side, where you see like a little like band of some sort kind of playing.
Is it a mariachi band?
It is not a mariachi band. It is. You do see a band. You do see a band playing next to the fountain in the rain. But other than that, there's really nothing too out of place, I guess. And so as y'all are walking through and everything, y'all do notice that y'all do see a wagon near one of the stalls. As you end up walking up to it, or as Yorn ends up walking to it, y'all kind of following. you do notice a wagon, and Yorn kind of like looks over at the stall itself, as it is it looks like a little magic and trinkets kind of stall. But you do see a wagon there, you know, full of stuff, kind of sitting there next to the stall.
Is Yorn not going to start to buy it?
He's just browsing.
What are they selling at the stall? What's that got? Oh boy.
Yeah, you see a couple what looks like grimoires and books. You see a little crystal ball there, kind of sitting there, and then you see like little things that look maybe like they could be some magical items and stuff. You see an amulet, like a glowing amulet, glows kind of like a bluish color. There's a staff kind of sitting there against the side of the counter. It's got a little like a little ball at the end of it, and it's glowing, and you see like almost like a star on the inside of it.
Can I roll for Arcana to check to see like anything that would like to see like any trinkets that are like see like what they would do?
Yeah, sure.
So Arcana 11.
So you look at them. The most of them, you know, as you're looking through, you don't really notice, you know, anything that you like specifically recognize. There is one item that you notice though. It's a little trinket that you remember, where it's kind of you remember seeing it in a book from the library as you were reading through spells and stuff. It's like a trinket that's supposed to like help you. It's supposedly supposed to help you like be able to take in information faster and learn stuff faster. But other than that, you don't know necessarily. Like you don't really notice anything. You don't see anything that you really recognize out of the other stuff. Everything else kind of seems like a huge blur. You figured that most of it's, you know, magical items, but you don't really recognize what anything does.
And there's someone there like at the stall, right? Around the stall.
Yeah,
Or...
there is a person, yes. Kind of in like a shrouded robe and everything, so you can't really see their face.
Okay. Ug's gonna ask him about the item there that stood out to him.
Yeah, so as you asked him, you hear like a female voice as they kind of like push it back. You see this this brown-headed girl. She kind of looks over at it, and she's like, this one. Yes, this is a kind of a fun place, a fun one. It's this one is, it's one of those like trinkets that you kind of wear, and it is supposed to help you learn a little better, but I'm not entirely sure if it works. I have used it once or twice to see, but it's not one of those that makes you feel any different. But it may be of great value. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to ask my mother when she gets back if you are interested in buying it. She did, like explain it to me though. It's supposed to be one of those, trinkets that it's supposed to help you retain and keep knowledge a lot more than the average person could do. So I don't know. It's supposed to like unlock a different part of your brain that stores information better. But I have no clue If that exactly is what it is. I'm just here watching the stall.
Okay. Do you know how long until your mother comes by or comes back? Or?
She should be here any minute. She left like 30 minutes ago. She should be back here about any minute.
Okay.
So, anything else I can help you with?
Nothing for me really. I'll inquire about that piece when your mother gets here then.
Okay. You just kind of see her, like, just kind of step back and I guess watch the stall to make sure that, crap doesn't happen. Yeah. Jordan kind of looks through and he's like, oh my god, is this what I think it is? And you see him like pick up a little like a book there, and he's just like, do you know what this is?
Nope.
I have no clue.
What is it?
This is a book that tells the story of the Fallen.
The who?
Do you not know who the Fallen are?
No, who are the Fallen?
The Fallen that attacked us like 15 years ago. Destroyed like half of the land of Galore, and why people are not allowed outside of, why people are really not allowed outside of the region up north. Like, they literally they're building a huge gate up there to like keep the Fallen out.
I'm personally not from the lands of Glore, so
I'm not either. I traveled from lands far beyond here.
Okay. Well, this tells a great. This right here tells a great story on how the Fallen was founded. Like how the Fallen kind of came to be. How they kind of grew as a kind of like a civilization, and they actually, how they used to have a connection, like, with the dragons, and with the dragons appearing now, I believe this might be like, very good knowledge. I feel it might be, very, it might be really important, especially, with where we're going. A lot of you do seem that you want to fight a dragon. Well, this right here might be the best bet in learning how to defeat them. And then you hear, another voice behind him walk up, kind of also in a shrouded robe, and you hear a lady speaking. It's like, yes, that book. That is a very good piece of knowledge. And you see her kind of like push the little hood back, and you see a little bit of an older woman with like pure like snowy white hair, and walk up, and she's just like, yes, she goes, that book right there will be 200 gold pieces. As Yorn's mouth kind of drops a bit, and he's like, really? And he quickly slaps up his coin pouch onto the counter, and he goes, of course, I'll take it. And she goes, and she kind of like is surprised and goes, oh okay. And you see Yorn kind of like run off to the fountain and sit there, and like he's kind of like using his kind of like trying to use like his body / like a blanket that he pulls over his head a little bit to cover and start reading through the book. And like as he's doing this, she's like, okay, was that your friend?
Yes.
Yep.
He seems like a fun he seems like a fun little goblin to have around.
He is very magic, so that
well, in that case, he's in the right place. The city of Hector is all known for its magic.
That is part of the reason why we're here.
Oh, okay. And so she walks around the stall. It's like, what brings you to the stall then? Are y'all just browsing around?
I'm not sure about them, but and I just kind of like points at the item that they were talking about, or he was talking about with the daughter.
Yeah. She goes, "Ah, I see. Okay, this is the Amulet of Retainer. This right here is a great amulet. If you wear it, what it does is it unlocks parts of your mind, which allows you to retain knowledge a lot better. Pretty much increasing your productivity at least by twofold. For some, it works three times faster. It's great for studying. It's great for memorizing stuff, and however, this specific amulet has been returned. Someone sold it back to me because, well, I don't know why in particular. They mentioned something on the lines of like it was ruining their life, but I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, I've worn it. My daughter has worn it, and you know, we seem to be fine. So I don't know. It was a crazy old man. He had someone else with him, and what was his name again? I think they called him Professor or something like that. But whatever. He came down and he gave it back and claimed it was evil and it was ruining his life. I don't know. So I have no clue. But if you would like to purchase it, I could sell it to you for around 300 gold pieces. So.
Okay.
Are you sure about that? Because it's being returned, so wouldn't that mean that there's some sort of problem with it, even though... Because it may just be a fluke with you and your daughter.
No, there's no way. Like, people return stuff at the market all the time over the dumbest reasons. I had somebody actually come here and try to return a ring that they bought. It was let's see, that was the Ring of Flames, I believe, which allows you to control fire, and they returned it because the ring didn't fit them. It's like, you know, you would have known if the ring would fit you or not when you first took it, you know? So, I
mean, like, yeah, if the ring don't fit, don't buy.
Well, with this seeing that it's magic, they probably assumed that it would shrink to fit, or, you know, like change to fit them with magic or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's one of those things people just kind of return stuff sometimes. So whatever that guy was going on about, I don't know. He seemed kind of crazy, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure.
But I mean, ruining his life is a pretty big complaint, though.
People are dramatic. I mean, I just saw someone the other day try to sell some tomatoes to the farmer over there, and you look over to your side. She's like they tried to sell some tomatoes back to the farmer because apparently they had worms in them, and he sold me the exact same tomatoes, and there were no holes. It looked perfectly fine. Like, I don't understand, and I went home and cooked them. They were great. I don't know. Some people are a little dramatic and take it a little overboard. So,
do you not have like a ward set up, like wards against curses set up? Because if you do, that may.
Well, I check all of these things. If I was cursed, I would probably, I mean, do I look cursed?
I'm not saying you'd be cursed. I'm saying like the object maybe like have like a slight curse on it, and you may it may just, you may have like a ward against these curses.
Well, yes, I do dabble in removing curses, but like that. I mean, when it comes to these items, none of them are cursed. There's no way that any of them could be cursed.
I'm not doubting the fact that they're like that. I'm not saying like they all may be cursed or something like that. I'm just saying that you may have built a resistance to some curses, and you're just kind of not able to like notice them, or them not able to like interact with you. So what he may be correct that it's ruining his life, because it could just be a curse that you just haven't been able to detect because you've grown too accustomed to some curses.
Well, you may be right on that part, but the problem is that if it was a light curse is like maybe a curse that makes it where like it, like you might feel a little extra itchy or something, while you're wearing something, or like, like once a day, you just all of a sudden, you fall asleep or something, that's a light curse, if any, like that wouldn't be ruining someone's life.
Look, I was just looking at taking it off your hands, but if you're saying that it's cursed, I mean, who knows how many people would just be selling this back to you and how many hands this would go through.
It's like, well, if you don't want to buy it, you don't have to buy it. I will find someone else to buy it.
And they'd probably return it. Probably saying the exact same thing.
No. I rarely get things returned. This was the first time this was returned.
First time so far.
But what do you know? You said you came here to learn, but it seems like you know everything perfectly fine. It looks like. Get out of here. Go away. I'm done with you. You can take your friends with you too.
All I was just saying,
man.
Well, don't blame me.
As someone who doesn't
up with this one thing.
Morgoth's just been kind of just sitting here listening to this the whole time intently.
Ugg just kind of like walk. Ugg just said, after Ugg says, don't blame me if you just end up just getting stuck with this thing. He just kind of walks to the back of the group.
I kind of just walk up and I kind of look up and say, I apologize for my friend. He's not very trustworthy. Maybe someone who might actually want to give you business, may find something I want here.
And she kind of looks at you in almost like a skeptical, like angry way, and she goes, "Well, your friend is no longer allowed to buy from here, but I guess if you would like to buy something, I guess I could make that arrangement. Is there anything here that you were looking at? Anything that you're interested in?"
I was kind of wondering if maybe you had a ring of invisibility by any chance.
Ring of invisibility. I don't think we have anything on the invisible. Of the invisible market. It's a little hard to come by that stuff. Let's see. We do have one thing that may suit you. You seem like a person who likes to be fast and nimble, correct?
I do like being fast and nimble.
You guys, I think we might have something here. And so she kind of like, you kind of see her like, there's a little like, a small little box of some sort. She kind of goes through it, and you see her pull out an item there. She pulls out an item, and it looks like some type of brace of some kind, like an arm brace. And she goes, now this might suit you a bit. This right here is the Bracer of Flying Daggers. Essentially, this right here is it's kind of a hefty armband. And you kind of look at it. It's enough where it would fit on your wrist just fine. And it seems super light. It's just that it'll basically fill up a good portion of your forearm. And she goes, now this is a very cool thing because, and she kind of slaps it on real quick, straps it down, and she goes, you have an unlimited source of daggers that, if you know how to throw a dagger, can be very helpful. As she takes a little knife out of it, and she throws the dagger, she ends up throwing the dagger over at another stall, hitting a post. You see the person running the fish stall over there kind of just stop for a moment, as he sees the dagger, and she goes, there is one catch though. These daggers will vanish if you don't throw it right away. And on top of that, if you look back at the post and you look back, you see the dagger's completely gone. She goes, they also vanish after a few seconds of being outside of the bracer. But basically all of the daggers return, and you pretty much have infinite amounts of throwing daggers that you can use how you see fit. And she kind of unstraps it, and she goes, I can sell this to you for a good price of 100 gold pieces. I've had this for a while. Not a lot of people are interested in it, but I will tell you, it is definitely something that I believe that you, someone of your stature and nature, something that you might find interesting.
Ma'am, I will admit, that is actually really awesome. However, and at this point I end up summoning Serpent's Fang, I kind of can do that naturally.
And as you do that, she quickly grabs your hand and kind of looks at the little curse mark you have, along with the dagger that you summoned. She's like, well, that is peculiar. That is very interesting there. How are you able to do that? That, were you born with this?
No, actually. While I was rotting in a prison cell, an older looking man came along and grabbed me by the hand, walked away. I looked back. There's the mark.
Oh.
I was expecting it to burn, but didn't.
Well. Well, that is a very interesting thing. It's a very interesting thing you have. I guess this wouldn't be of too much use. I don't know, unless you could, learn how to throw really fast, but well, that's unfortunate. And she kind of takes it off, and puts it back in the box. And you kind of notice the mouse kind of, the mouse kind of ends up on your shoulder, coming over your back on your shoulder, and he's just like, dude, what is wrong with you? Do you understand how rare that item is? He somewhat whispers in your ear.
I mean, do you know how rare my hand is right now?
Well, yes, but he's like, how fast can you throw that thing?
never tried throwing it that fast.
You never tried throwing it that fast. Then what is the purpose of that then?
I mean, I mostly just try to stab people with it. Throwing it's just a bonus.
I don't know. I mean, what you do have does seem pretty cool. I don't know. I feel like that bracer would be of a lot of use, though.
True. But at the same time, I don't think those throwing daggers can cause poison.
Poison? How are you trying to poison people?
It's more of if I can't deal with them normally, I'll throw the dagger. Hit them, I'll try and poison them. It's hard to explain how that works, actually.
Whatever.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well,
Unfortunately,
it doesn't fit me, but as being part of the Royal Guard, a bracer of flying daggers is something that has helped many of the Guard. But I mean, you do as you see fit. I would say at least give it a try. And hey, I mean, she did say there's a lot of people return stuff. You know, you trying to return it if it's bad is, you know.
That's a good point, but I am also, considering our current mission of getting a wagon and 100 gold, it's like more than half of what I have.
Okay, well, you do as you see fit, and he kind of just hops down. He kind of hops down and everything, and he kind of like scurries off over to like where Yorn's sitting, and he kind of like hops into Yorn's lap and starts looking in the book. Kind of just leaving you there at the stall. Leaving you there at the stall, Caden. Okay, cool. Let's go on to anybody else then.
Morgan,
Yeah.
I had a connection issue there.
Arello.
Morgoth like chimes in and asks, "So, are we planning to buy this wagon today, or?"
Yeah. So.
Just kind of walks over to Yorn, just like look at the map or look at the book as well. Because he's basically not welcome at the stall.
Yeah, Yorn's just reading a book, and the mouse is doing so as well. So
yeah,
it's all on you guys. Good luck.
Yeah, Ugg's going to look at the book basically as well. So it's between Morgoth, Arilo, Caden,
and is Vanessa with it?
Yeah, and Vanessa. So it's between you guys what you're doing. If you're going to look at the stall or what.
I think we need to go ahead and buy this wagon while we still can.
Yeah.
So, Caden, you're the one with the gold here. Don't look at me. I'm dead broke. I can assure you.
That is a fair point. And then, like, under my breath, I kind of just say, God, why do I just steal shit?
Oh,
So, how much was it again?
yeah, how much was the wagon again?
No one's
Yeah,
ever asked.
no one asked.
No one's asked. We've all only left the stuff at the
You
stall.
ignored the wagon.
Yeah, Morgus has been kind of
Wagon.
waiting for someone to go buy the wagon because he has no money.
Ugg's gone to like look at the book as well.
Okay, Morgeth is gonna go up and ask how much the wagon is.
Yeah, so you walk up and you ask the lady like how much the wagon is, and she's like, the wagon? No one's really asked me about the wagon before. Well, I would have to unload everything, which would take a bit. I'll sell it to you for, I don't know, let's say 75 gold pieces.
Well, do we think we'll be able to cover that? Caden?
Yeah. I can cover that.
What?
All right.
Yuki, you're gonna help? Okay.
Okay, whoever can cover it, come on.
Yep. There we
Hold
go.
on.
Well,
All right, cool.
75 gold.
She's like, well, awesome. She's like, yeah, give me a bit and I will unload the wagon so you can take the wagon. As she kind of like hops in and starts grabbing stuff. And kind of just leaving all of you, sitting there. The rain kind of clears up. Like you notice the rain start to clear up and everything. You see people like start to arrive there. You start to see like a few people that come out, and they don't seem to be like they're not really market goers. They're more of like performers and stuff. And you start to hear more music. You start to hear people start to get there. It's starting to get a little more chattery and things like that. And as you're sitting there standing there in the marketplace and everything, people are starting to like come out. And as it starts to get busy and bustling and everything, the lady there kind of like starts to finish things up as y'all are waiting for her to unload the wagon. And like as she's getting the last few things off, she goes, well, enjoy the wagon, I guess. And Jorn goes, Jorn kind of goes, did y'all buy the wagon? I've been here reading a book, so I wasn't paying attention to that.
Yes.
Yes, we bought the wagon.
Yeah.
Got it. That's awesome. And he kind of stands up, and he goes to shut the book, and you notice that like the mouse was kind of standing on the book, so he kind of like he gets slightly crushed in, and he's like, "Excuse me, fine sir, can you please?" And Jort's like, "Oh, sorry," and he opens the book. And he opens it fast enough where it kind of like the shockwave sends the mouse up, like up in the air, and it lands on top of Yorn's head. And then they just kind of, and then he's just like, onward to the wagon. And so Yorn and him start, walking off, like toward the wagon.
Ugg starts walking over as well with them. Deals over with them.
Loading up the wagon.
Caden's also walking over, just kind of like slightly chuckling.
Yeah, more good.
As you are, getting to the wagon and everything, you're just like, okay, who's driving?
Are you gonna drive?
Yorn's like, well, I guess I could drive, but I was wondering if any of you wanted to. I don't know, maybe one of you wanted to learn how to drive a wagon.
I've tried before. You don't want me driving a wagon.
I guess I'll give it a shot.
Okay. And so as you follow Yorn to the front, you see Yorn's like little smile kind of like start to go into like a shocked state, and he's just like, oh no.
What's
and
wrong?
as you walk around, you notice that there are no horses on the front of this. You just see like a stick sticking up in front of the driver's seat.
Riley, you're up.
It's the thing from episode 1.
Okay. I'll pull the wagon. Let's go.
Yeah, y'all have fun with that. I'm gonna fly after you guys.
So Rilo goes to the front and he grabs it. And I guess he tries to pull. I need you to roll me a strength check.
4.
Yeah. So you try to pull on this thing, and you try to what?
Oh, I said I was gonna try again.
Oh, no, you've already tried. So
Johnny, can I roll a history? Try and remember what this thing is. Like to remember exactly like where I've seen it before.
one moment after I explain what happened. So like as he grabbed the stick and tried to pull it and everything, he like goes to pull it, and it feels like that the wheels itself is just locked. And you almost hear like a clanking sound of some kind, like as he's trying to pull on this. And so now, Caden, if you wanna roll for a history check on it.
Wow, nat 20.
Okay. So you remember vaguely what this thing is. It does to be one of those kind of like self-driving wagons that people have been using. You remember that it has a special contraption on it, and then if someone knows how to drive it, they of course can, they are able to just move it around just fine. But you remember also it's got something to do with magic.
I can't seem to pull that. So.
I look over and I just say, guys, I've seen one of these crash before. And if I remember correctly, it's controlled by magic, not horses. So
You weren't just like, yeah, wait a minute. I think I remember seeing something like that before. Let's see. And he kind of like, he kind of sits there for a moment. And he's just like, well, if I remember correctly, it has something to do with rune magic. Man, oh man, how did they drive that before? He's like, I've ridden one of these before, but I don't necessarily remember how they was able to drive it. I know they grabbed the top of they ended up grabbing the top of the stick here, and you kind of notice like there's just like this metal ball up top, and he's just like, and they did something, but I can't remember what it was.
Hmm.
I just had a brilliant idea. So what if we asked the person we bought how to drive it?
Brilliant idea.
Damn.
Good. Maybe another good idea. 2 times in a day. That's a new record.
Fuck off, Vanessa.
Someone's gotta come up with the ideas now. That
Yeah, great idea. Poor execution. Who the fuck's gonna ask?
Yeah, who wants to ask? Does the idea guy want to ask them, or? Here.
Well, it's definitely not Ugg that's going to be so.
Right. Fine, I'll do it myself. So I'm gonna go up to the lady and ask her how exactly we're supposed to drive this thing.
You see her kind of do like a light chuckle, and she's just like, y'all have never seen a self-driving wagon before, have you?
Not even once, no.
Do any of you by chance, as she asked Morgeth directly, she's like, do anyone of your friends or you know how to use any type of rune magic?
I'm
Go ahead, O'Reilly.
Ugg kind
I
of
guess
turn on the back.
Oh, did somebody
because I,
get ready to say something?
because I do know fire runes, but I guess I can't really do magic without the cards.
Yes. And I mean, we couldn't get Yorn to do it. He knows how to do magic.
and he knows a thing or two about drones.
Well, I say, what are we waiting for? Let's go get him to see if he can figure out how to do this.
Isn't Yorn like with you guys though? Like, isn't he with us all?
He's on the other side of the wagon. He doesn't hear any of this.
Oh.
Yarn.
Yes.
You know how to use. You know a thing or two about drones, right?
Yeah, rune magic. Yeah, I know how to do that. Why?
Well, because we have someone who can teach you how to control this wagon.
Oh, okay. And he walks around the wagon. He's just like, so who's gonna teach me?
Well, we guess the lady that owns the wagon, or that owned the wagon before we bought it.
The lady kind of looks over. She goes, "Yes, I will teach you for a fair price of 15 gold pieces." And Yorn just kind of looks at her and is just like, "No. Like, that's way too much. You sold us a wagon. You're kind of obligated to teach us how to at least drive it." And she's like, "No. I was obligated to unload the wagon so you could take it for yourself. I did not have to, in any way, shape, or form, teach you how to drive it. And that is your problem now." And Yorn goes, "Okay, I guess it is our problem. And you know what? It's not really fair that you're doing this." And she's like, "Well, life's not fair." And he goes, "Yes. Just like how it's not fair to you that I stand in front of your shop all day telling people that your items are cursed." She's like, "You can't do that." No, I can. Because there is nothing telling me that I am obligated not to do so. She's like, "Oh, I see. The blackmail it is." And he's like, "Well, I mean, I guess you could call it blackmail, but it's not really blackmail when I'm telling the truth." She's like, "And what are you suggesting? That all my items are cursed?" He's like, "They're not all cursed. Just all the ones you're selling." And she's like, that is a load of crap, and you know it." And he's like, "No, it's not. just like how that amulet there, and he points at the one that Ugg was looking at earlier. He's like, that right there is an amulet of misery. Whereas the wearer who actually wears it ends up slowly corrupting the minds of the people around them, causing them to hate the said person, sending them into a deep set of depression, also known as misery. She's like, how do you know that? He's like, yeah, because I know a thing or two about magic myself. And he goes, the name is Yorn. She goes, Yorn? As in, Yorn from the Hector Library? And he goes, yes, Yorn from the Hector Library, yes. Can you teach me how to drive the wagon? And, she's like, oh, I didn't know you were from the library. I guess it's been long enough since I've been there. He's like, yes, can you teach me how to drive the wagon now? And then the mouse was like, Yarn, it seems she's a fan. Can you at least share her the honor of at least indulging in her weird library fantasy for just a moment? And she looks over and it's like, she looks over at the mouse and it's like, it's not a fantasy. It's just been a long time, and I know the name of Yorn. I've heard it a few times. And Yorn just goes, okay, cool. And he starts walking up in front of the stall, and he goes, come over here, everybody, and buy these cursed wares! You want a nice amulet of misery that causes people to hate you? You can come and get it right here for the low price of 200 gold pieces! And, she goes, fine, I'll teach you! Jeez, and he's like, thank you, we don't have all day. The mouse did say that, he is kind of in a rush. And, she goes, okay, hop in the wagon, put your hand on the ball. He goes, okay. And so he walks around, he hops in, he puts his hand on the ball, and she goes, now, in your mind, draw any rune that you feel. It's like, just any? It's like, yes, just in your mind, draw it. Don't physically draw it, but just in your mind, draw it, and keep your hand on the ball. He's like, okay. And he sits there for a second, and as he does it, all of a sudden, you feel the wagon kind of do a slight jerk, and then start to roll forward. And he's like, whoa, what the? And she's like, there you go, that's it, have fun. And she kind of walks back to her stall as Yorn's now sitting here slowly driving it at a snail's pace, trying to figure out how to do it. And he starts to in his mind kind of you start to notice that he's thinking really hard, and he's thinking really hard, trying to get the wagon. And you see the wagon just slightly turn to the left. As he, the wheels actually physically start turning to the left and everything, and kind of move their way around. He's sitting there, and he's just like, oh, I'm not sure if I can do this, as he's getting it to go slightly faster and faster, eventually getting up to maybe a walking speed. And he kind of you see him start to really look at the road, and he's just like, huh, am I driving this?
It would seem so.
Yes, you are.
Well, that's interesting. Would any of you like to give this a try? As he takes his hand off of the, as he takes his hand off of the ball there, the entire wagon it has a sudden stop where the brakes lock, basically almost like a brake. The wheels lock up as he takes his hand off the ball, and it just stops instantly, almost sending you guys off the wagon. And he's sending you guys forward just a little bit, and he's just he's like, oh, crap, sorry, and he puts his hand back on the ball and starts making it move again. He's like, maybe I should get the hang of this first before I start letting other people drive.
Probably.
Yes, potentially.
Yep. And with that, he starts going off, and he's like, "Okay, Mouse, where are we going?" And he goes, "We need to go southwest of Hector." Southwest, like toward the military encampments? He goes, "Kind of, not quite that far, but somewhat close." Like, okay. And Yorn's just like, "Okay, I guess we're going." And Mouse was like, "Yes, we are coming to save you, princess!" As y'all are starting to ride your way to the Hector gates. And the mouse, looks up at Ugg, who's still flying above the wagon. He goes, "Are you going to come down from there, or what?"
It seems he's got the hang of it. Yeah, sure.
Yep. And so you come down, you land on the wagon just fine. And, Yorn's just sitting there, it seems like he's gotten the hang of it at this point. And, y'all end up pulling up onto the Hector gates. And, Yorn tries to, in his mind, he can't quite stop this. He can't quite stop it, and so y'all just keep rolling, and guards are standing in front, halt! And he's just like, I don't know how to halt. I don't know how to halt. I don't know how to halt. And as he goes off, the guards quickly step out of the way, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I don't know how to stop this thing." As this is still going at a walking pace, at a walking pace, the guards are following, and they're like, "Stop the vehicle!" And he's like, "I don't know how to."
Yorn, take your hand off.
Yorn, drop the ball.
He's like, "Oh yes," and he takes his hand off, and as he does that, it's enough of a jerk to send the mouse off the wagon, planting in front of the wagon, sending the mouse in front of the wagon. And Yorn's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, mouse friend." And the mouse just goes, "It is fine. Everything is fine." As he gets back up, and you see him kind of crack his back, and he's just like, "Yep, everything is fine." And he hops back on the wagon and everything, and he's like, "Onward!" And Yorn goes, "Of course." And he goes about to put his hand on the ball, and the guard goes, "Halt! Why are y'all leaving the city?" And Yorn goes, "Well, why else? To leave." As he puts his hand on the ball, and the guard goes, "If you start moving, I will have to put you under arrest." And Yorn goes, "Oh, of course, I forgot. Where are my manners?" And he pulls out, it looks like a note of some kind, and he goes, "This is why we're leaving." And the guard kind of looks at the note for a moment, and he's just like, "I see. Proceed." And then Yorn puts his hand on the ball, and it kind of makes the wagon move along. And with that, the mouse kind of also he kind of jumps to the back of the wagon and everything. And as he's looking around the wagon and everything, he just looks over, and he's just like, "So, are we just not bringing anything with us? Do any of you have supplies?"
I mean, I only took what was in my room.
I see.
Didn't we have stuff in our old wagon?
And Yorn goes, "Yes. Yes, we did. We had lots of stuff."
Why didn't
in our
we
old
go
wagon.
back and grab that? Why didn't we go back to the old wagon and salvage what we could from that wreckage?
Yorn's just like, "It was a pain in the ass to get out of the city. I don't know if you know this, but the guards are not too friendly with people entering and leaving all the time.
No, I noticed.
Yeah, no, we could tell.
Yeah. And the reason we didn't go back is for one reason, is for a huge thing, a huge reason. Because there was nothing of great value in that wagon. There were a bunch of rotten berries still in there. Maybe a couple travel supplies, but nothing of great value. All the stuff in the hidden compartment I already have, so that is fine. But
I mean, I have my own food, so.
Well, then it seems like we're fine then. And Yorn kind of, like ends up speeding up the wagon a bit. It's now like, like the wagon's starting to get up to like a running pace, and he's like, okay, I think I've got this. And like, as he's like getting it up, he's starting to get faster and faster with it. And it's eventually just getting to the point where like you guys almost feel like uncomfortable sitting in the wagon because you think that he might crash it any second.
Caden's feeling very uncomfortable as he's already seen one of these things crash.
Uggs only heard of a mysterious wagon crash that crashed.
Vanessa just like speaks up. It's like, you might want to try practicing slowing down and stopping without taking your hand off the ball before you get too comfortable with the speed.
And Yorn goes, you make a good point. And he's like, you make a good point. And so he like tries to sit there and slow it down, and he goes, oh, that's a problem. I forgot. I don't know how to slow this thing down. And all of a sudden you see the wagon just get slightly faster, and he's like, crap, losing focus, come on, focus. And like the wagon's just getting faster and faster and faster. And it's at a point where all of you were just like starting to hold on to the sides and everything. It's like the whole wagon's starting to rock and everything. And even like when it hits a speed bump, it like the whole wagon kind of like comes off the ground for a moment. It's a little bump there.
Caden is in full-on panic mode now.
Morgeth's just kind of like holding down, bracing for impact, and is kind of looking for in the.
Ugg is getting ready to like fly out of this thing if need be.
And Yorn's as Yorn's driving, the mouse sees like a fork in the road, and he goes right here, and Yorn instantly takes a sharp right, sending the whole thing on its left two wheels. Like almost at like a 30-degree angle up, and it just slightly enough hits back down on all four of its wheels, and it starts going down this road like really fast. And Yorn's like, I don't know how to slow this thing down, and the mouse goes, well, you better learn quick because we're about to hit some rocky cliffs. As you guys start to see that, you start to see the road, even though the road stays pretty much at the same elevation on the right side, you start to see like basically a drop on it, and you're just sitting here like, oh no. And he goes,
so
what?
This like speaks up. It's like, okay, so the lady said to draw runes to make it go faster, right?
He said, no, that's how you drive this thing. That's how you get it started.
How about, have you tried imagining the runes being undone?
What? That's not a thing. You can't undo a rune.
What rune are you drawing?
He's like, I'm drawing the water rune.
Try drawing like the opposite rune, I guess.
What? Drawing the opposite? Okay. He thinks about it for a second, and he goes, you see, there is an issue with that. I'm imagining that, but I don't think it worked. And you look at you all like see the ball glow, and it's like a bright blue glow on the ball, and he's just like, yes, I don't think I can draw another rune. I'm not entirely sure how I'm supposed to slow this thing down.
Well, I would say we're in a very precarious.
How fast are you drawing the rune in your head?
He's like, well, decently fast, I guess. Why?
Try doing it slower.
He starts to try, he tries to draw it slower in his mind, and as he does, he's like, okay, and done. And like as you all start to notice, you think that for a moment you think the wagon's getting slower, then all of a sudden it boosts off like down the road as he's sitting here just like, oh shit, and he's just like trying to keep it on the road.
Yorn, just focus on the cart and drawing your rune slow.
He's just like, okay, and he tries to draw it slow in his mind and everything, but you'll notice that like every time he's doing this, it's getting faster and faster.
Okay, maybe try to draw it faster.
No, he was already doing that.
Or
this
maybe
is probably
stop
where we're
drawing them. See if it slows down on its own, but
Yorn's just like, crap. Yorn's just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here.
What rune are you drawing again?
I'm drawing the water rune.
Air and earth beat water, right? I tried.
What? I attempted to draw other runes. It won't let me draw other runes.
Have you tried not drawing runes?
And he just gets kind of like, he's starting to get a little irritated at this point. And he literally just like pulls his hands off of the orb itself, sending it to a halt real quick. The whole wagon kind of as it stops, it kind of lifts up and the back lifts up a bit and then hits the ground again. And as you stop in the middle of the road, you just see dirt tracks, all behind you, and you're sitting on the edge of a cliff. You're sitting on the edge of a cliff, and you kind of get a nice look off, and it's about a 200-foot drop, and Yorn's just like, I don't think you understand. I've been trying everything y'all have been saying, and I have not been able to get this thing to slow down one bit.
Well, it looks like you taking your hand off for her.
And he's like, oh, I see. And he goes and puts his hand on it for a moment. And it continues to move. It continues to move, and he takes his hand off. It stops, and he's just like, "Okay, we have our start and stop. Where in the heck do we slow down?"
we can figure that out later. We got a princess to save. Let's just take it slow from here.
We are looking at a cliff ledge.
I'm just borderline pants shitting sitting there. Please, can we figure something out?
Maybe getting past this edge before we start doing that. Get to a straightaway again. Before we try.
Okay. And so he starts it slow, trying to move down the road and everything. And then as you're going down, you see another wagon. The road's big enough to fit 2 wagons. Another wagon barely passes, and you see this guy going full freaking speed with one of these self-driving wagons. He's got one hand on the ball, and he's got his other hand what looks like to be some sort of lever on the side of the wagon.
Hey, Yorn, have you tried the lever that guy's got?
And Yorn looks over and he's like, "What lever?" And you notice that you don't have a lever, but you do end up noticing that there's a spot an axle where that lever used to be.
Oh, great! So we bought a car.
So it's broken then.
No wonder we got it for cheap.
Cheap. That was over. Actually, I
Yeah,
guess that
I
was
meant
cheap for
cheap
this kind
for
of
a
wagon.
wagon.
I meant like for this kind of wagon. I pull up my crowbar and see if it kind of like, if like it seems to like be big enough to fit in there, or small.
It's just a. I mean, you could fit it in there, but there's. I mean, you got to find a way to turn the axle. Like the axle is like smoothed up against it. It almost looks like something was torn off of it.
Would he be able to use rope to attach it?
I guess.
He's got rope.
Yeah.
What have we got to lose?
Okay, who's attaching it?
Where are we attaching it to?
An axle.
There's a
inside
better
the cart.
question.
Okay.
Better question. Better question. What were we rolling? Like, what are we? How are we trying to attach?
I'm
Like,
not
we had to roll
going
anything?
to tell you what to roll unless somebody tells me that they're doing it.
All right. I'll try to attach it. It's my rope. It's my crowbar. Might as well try myself.
Okay. I need you to roll me a survival check.
I somehow knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I suck at making things. I got 2.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
you
my
try to
plus one.
attach it. You try to attach it and everything. You can't quite get it to attach. You did manage to accidentally turn this thing, forcing the cart to go faster. And with a jolt of speed, you're just trying to like keep it on the road. You'll get past the little cliff part, so you're on normal road now. But you kind of like as it's going faster, you're just like, "What did you do back there?"
Maybe
I tried to fix it. I fucked up.
Yes, you did.
I didn't break anything, right?
No, you didn't break anything.
Okay. Someone else want to try doing this?
I'll take a shot at it.
Okay. Roll me survival.
Alright. A 6.
Yeah, you try it as well. It fails, and you make the cart go slightly faster.
Oh god.
Oh
and
god.
And you're just like, excuse me, whatever you're doing, can you please do it better?
Ugg's gonna just go
Does
like try.
anyone here have better skills than us?
Ugg's gonna try and take over and do this.
Yep. Yeah. So Ugg, I need you to roll me a survival.
Can I help Ugg do it?
Nat 20.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, he got a nat 20. So Ugg, kind of like using his hovering skills and everything, he's able to jam the crowbar in there, quickly get the rope tied up, and use it almost like a lever. And he ends up pulling it back, just slightly, like right next to Yorn. He ends up pulling it back, and it ends up slowing down the wagon some. And Yorn's just like, I see. And he looks at the job that y'all just did, and he's like, wow, a crowbar and rope. Were we that desperate?
You want to use a hammer instead?
First things that came to mind.
Yep. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
I mean, hey, it was either the crowbar or the hammer, and I was saying the crowbar is better.
We can fix it better later, but for now, this will do.
Yes, of course. And Jordan kind of like, he kind of, he doesn't argue or anything. He just starts using it to try to like figure out how to control it. So, yeah, he gets the hang of it a bit. He learns how to control it. Um, and as he's learning how to control it, he goes, "Does anybody else want to attempt to give this a try?"
No.
Well, considering the fact that we need magic to actually do this, I don't think many people here can actually do it.
You do make a
I've
fairly
never
good
seen it.
point.
I've only seen a rune drawn once. That was by you.
Oh, is anybody in the front seat with Yorn? I didn't even ask.
I think we're all in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yorn's up.
Yorn's in the front. Mouse, I guess, kind of is at the front, but I was wondering. But yeah, so Yorn just goes, "Well, I think I can get the hang of this now that I could speed it up and slow it down better." And so he's using the lever there to kind of speed it up and slow it down. You know, he's able to drive this fairly well now. So now he's able to drive it at a good pace, but enough that he can still control it. The mouse just goes, "Well," he's like, "Good bird friend, you are you are kind of skilled with random crafting, improvised, whatever you want to call it. You were good at that."
Yes, that I tend to do that from time to time, improvised crafting.
Yes. It is a very good skill to have on the road. The Royal Guard might actually I'll go back and see if we can find you a job. And with that, you know, with Yorn still driving and everything, Yorn's just like, yeah, so I'm driving down this road. How far do we need to go? And the mouse is like, "Oh, not much farther." As you could see in the distance, and all of you start to notice like this large smokestack off in the distance, and he goes, "That is where they're currently held up, in that camp there."
Ah.
Yes, it seems that is where the camp currently is, and that might be where the princess currently is.
Well,
if not, probably find out something.
Yes, of course. He's like, "Well, if anything goes wrong, and any of you happen to die, I do want to say it was an honor to fight beside you."
Same with you, dear mouse. By the way,
I'm gonna be honest with
your name?
"Oh, my name. You know, how rude of me. All this time and I haven't even told you my name." Well,
the mouse hasn't introduced herself to us, and Vanessa hasn't introduced herself to the mouse.
Yes, he goes, "Well, you see, this is kind of embarrassing. The name is Rat Scallion, but my friends call me Rat. Yes, not a very fun name for a mouse, but it's not nice to officially introduce myself to all of you."
Oh, yes, it's nice to officially meet you as well.
Yes. If y'all would like to continue calling me Mouse, I believe that is that would be appropriate as well. And Yorn just goes, "Wait a minute, I'm confused. You're a mouse that carries a rapier,
he's called
fighting as a royal guard, and your name is Rat?" And he's like, "Yes, that is what it is. Unfortunately, I can't change the circumstances." And Yorn's just like, so what are you, just like some kind of mouseketeer? And he goes, well, I mean, I don't know what you mean by that. I mean that you're a mouseketeer. You're like a musketeer, but in mouse form. He's like, preposterous! It can't be like that. I don't own a musket! He's like, that's not the point.
Not all musketeers carry muskets.
And he's like, and Yorin, looks over at him, and he's just like, you do understand that the circumstances that you're in is very similar to an old folk tale, right? And he's like, yes, I understand this. I've been told this before. We will not talk about it.
So I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy then. So we all agree this then? I'm not the crazy one who thought that in the first place? Okay, good.
Oh no, you're 100% right, my friend.
I just thought I thought it was just a weird coincidence that only I noticed.
Mm-hmm. And as y'all start to like arrive on the camp a bit, you'll start to arrive on the camp. It's about midday or whatever, and the mouse or rat. What do y'all want to call him at this point?
Let's just keep calling him Mouse.
Yeah,
okay. So the mouse kind of goes. He kind of like looks over toward the camp a little bit as y'all start to get closer, and he's just like, stop the wagon. And Yorn quickly stops the wagon. He's just like, what? He goes, we should go on foot from here. And do what with the wagon? I don't know. Hide it somewhere. Have you never hidden a wagon before? And Yorn goes, not successfully. And he goes, well, you should learn how to do that a lot better. As he quickly hops off the wagon.
Yorn, didn't you dismantle the last wagon?
He's like, I did not dismantle the last wagon. Oh wait, yes, we did dismantle the last wagon. Yes, that actually was a thing we did. Then yes, I did dismantle the last wagon. But let's not worry about that anymore.
Well, he makes a fair point. We need to go.
And Yorn kind of like, you see him like turn the wagon a little bit off the road, and he's able to get it kind of inside, so like kind of behind some bushes and everything. And he goes, I think this might be a good place to stop the wagon here. And the mouse goes, are y'all coming or what? Yorn's just like, he's like, Vanessa, if you eat that mouse, we can just leave.
I mean, it's tempting, but we gotta save
Vanessa.
Of course. And Yorn kind of gets off, and he's just like, it was just an offer. I don't actually want you to do it. He is slightly annoying. Okay.
I kind of like him.
And so Yorn hops off. He takes a couple like leaves and twigs and stuff and throws it inside the wagon, kind of trying to make it blend in a little better. And then he ends up like walking off into the forest toward the camp where the mouse went. Do all of you follow?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So
I've just been constantly expecting him to just somehow like turn his back on us. Now I'm just expecting like him to go in there and like as soon as he sees them, like go on their side.
So as y'all kind of move in and get closer to the camp, you kind of see the mouse there. You kind of see the mouse there and everything, and he's sitting on the side, and he's like, "Okay, I have not found the princess, but but it does seem in this camp is nicely sized, so she could be honestly anywhere. And as you look, there's no walls or anything, but you do see you see probably a good 15, 20 tents set up. You see probably around 30 to 40 soldiers, sitting around, and you don't really notice anywhere they might have stuck the princess. But you do notice that one tent is a lot bigger than the rest, and it is in the center of the camp. And it, and for a moment you kind of assume maybe the princess could be in there, or it could be some type of war room tent or whatever, where the leader is.
Yeah.
Either way, we might find something about her if we go there.
I'd say that's our best bet.
So, as y'all, so are y'all planning on trying to sneak in?
I'm gonna fly above. I just wanna fly above.
Okay. Yeah. So as you fly far enough above, I guess that they don't, really notice you. They probably think you're a bird at this point. I need you to roll me a perception check.
Perception? Okay. 10.
So you're looking around. You do see a little area with a couple cages, and you notice that maybe there's there's a tent there as well that probably has a cage or two inside, but you cannot tell who's all in the cages at all. You just see that there are a few there's a few animals, and then maybe a person or two in the other cages.
Okay. I'm gonna land back with the group and tell them about that. Tell them about the cages. Okay, group, I have landed and told you about the cages.
Mouse quickly, the mouse quickly jumps up and just you found her? You found the princess? Well, let's go! And he starts hopping out of the bush, right, trying to go for the camp.
Did you actually find the princess? Oh.
No, I just kind of told what I told the group was something along the lines of I see cages, mainly filled with animals. There's a couple people in a few of them, but I can't really make out anything in them or what was in them, to be exact.
Oh. Well, I guess let's go before this fool gets himself killed.
Yep. And so y'all head off. Y'all head off to try to sneak around the camp. You're on the outskirts of the camp, sneaking around a bit, and you see the mouse sneaking around. He's able to get past a few guards in there, and he's starting to head into the camp itself, kind of further into it, to the point where if you try to get his attention, you probably would get the attention of a bunch of guards there.
Oh, fun.
Oh, great.
Looks like the only way is forward going on here.
I agreed. We should continue.
Hey guys,
What?
you think if I look like one of them, I could just walk on through, no questions asked?
Maybe, if you're just good enough.
Okay, second question. Who here trusts my spell casting capabilities?
You can cast spells.
Kind of? I've never fully tried.
Yes, this is very encouraging. Well, I guess you could try.
All right.
Just don't get us all killed.
Please do not get us all killed.
Then in that case, you might want to step back a little bit just in case things go bad.
Okay.
I'm also kind of scared by this. All right. And with that, I cast Disguise Self on myself and try to make myself look like one of the bandits.
Yeah, you end up doing this. This is a cantrip, right?
No.
Oh, it's a spell slot?
Yep.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, you cast it. You're able to get this disguise on. So you end up, dressing up like one of the bandits. You pretty much look identical to one of the bandits that's sitting inside. That y'all could see.
All right, guys, did it work?
Yeah, you look
Yes.
pretty snazzy.
I was expecting to feel worse, if I'm honest.
Well, Caden, if you want to go sneak around, then I'd say you look the part.
So I guess I should go walk in there by myself in the open.
So, you walking in there?
Yep, I'm walking in there.
Okay. Yeah. So you walk in, and as you're walking in, one of the guys walks in. One of them walks up to you. He puts his arm around your, he puts his whole arm around you essentially. He's like, "Yo, Dave, where have you been, man?" As you see him, basically just pissed drunk at this point.
I got stuck patrolling.
You guys stuck patrolling, man? That sucks.
I know.
Oh, man. So, you want to come by and get a drink with me? Like buddies?
I mean, I was supposed to over to the cell, to the cages and all that, but I don't see why not.
Okay, that's awesome. He kind of pulls you to the side, where where all the drinks are and everything. And as he starts to lead you over there, just in eyesight of everybody else, you notice that just in eyesight of everybody else, all of a sudden you notice your disguise grows a nice little feline tail as you're walking.
I just whisper to the rest of you, "What the hell is that?" What'd you say?
Yoren's kind of just sitting there, kind of hidden with all of you. He's just like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. He uses wild magic."
Oh no.
This will be fun.
I'll get ready, everyone.
Get ready for a fight, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just kind of silently dying of laughter if that's what happens to me.
Yep. So yeah, you end up walking in and everything, and you still got this tail, and you go inside. And he kind of gets a drink. You're able to hide it pretty well, as you're in there. But the back to the rest of the party as Caden's, I guess, getting a drink. What are y'all doing in all of this? Are y'all just sitting here waiting, or?
Yeah, we're like getting ready for like a fight, but we're just kind of sitting there waiting for like stuff to happen.
Okay.
I agree. That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah. As y'all are sitting there, you kind of hear a whisper or something. You hear like a whisper or something, and then all of a sudden all of you like get this kind of like weird sense of danger. And all of a sudden you all like get this weird sense of danger as all of you need to roll for initiative.
Ah, damn it.
And that is actually where we're going to end tonight. We will come back with you guys in a fight. Yeah, I decided to put on a nice cliffhanger here.
And let's go.
Yep. Yep, that's pretty much how we're doing this. We will be ending off here while you guys are chilling outside the camp. And it seems like you're about to get attacked. So yeah, that's the fun part. So yeah. Well, guys, y'all ready to come back?
It'll be fun. Fight. Just immediate.
I have
immediate
a
fight when we come back.
tail now.
Yep, immediate fight when we come back. So yeah, without
Great.
further ado, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you press the like, subscribe buttons down below, and please comment anything you thought about this episode, or what do you think the fight's gonna be about next time? Like, who do you think, did they get spotted by some bandits, or did something else happen to alert them of some sort of danger? So put your predictions. But yeah, guys, would y'all like to say anything real quick? Y'all are so quiet tonight.
Yeah, I know. We almost crashed the cart today.
Almost crashed the cart. Yeah. I mean, you
Almost
broke the
crashed
first
the
one.
cart.
Yeah, we broke the first one.
Yeah.
Almost crashed the second one. Cade's now traumatized and has a fucking tail.
Yeah.
Vanessa
And he
is
lost his crowbar.
confirmed.
Vanessa's what?
Vanessa is scarier than Morgeth, confirmed.
Yep.
In all fairness, cat and mouse. I had the advantage there, cat and mouse.
I guess.
This is
She didn't roll for advantage.
Yeah, but still, it makes more sense in that description.
Okay. Yeah. So that's it. This is just Shy Test saying peace out, stay awesomeness, and we will all see you guys in the next D&D session. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.